terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp. And they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest-growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
A new year is the perfect time to look around your home, especially the kitchen and bathrooms you use every day, and think about a refresh. That's where Kitchen Magic comes in. They're a family-owned company crafting quality American-made kitchens and baths since 1979, and they make the process simple from start to finish. Right now, enjoy 30% off kitchen cabinet refacing and 50% off bathroom installations, plus the opportunity to lock in current pricing. Start the year with a home that looks better and works better. Visit kitchenmagic.com today.
Hi, I'm Joe Mederchik, PNC Bank Regional President. As presenting sponsor of the Eagles Radio Network, PNC Bank loves an exciting game. But we also think a little boring can go a long way. You see, boring banking means you're doing the right things. That is why PNC leaves a third and long to the professionals. Reliable fiscal strategies are more in our zone anyway. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. For some in the southern U.S., power has been out for 5 days now, and in Oxford, Mississippi, there is also no water for some customers. Also, hundreds of roofs and buildings have collapsed in the south under the weight of the snow and ice from last weekend's storm. CBS's Michael Wallace says in Saline County, Arkansas,
surveillance video captured the collapse of the County Fairgrounds Rodeo Arena. County Judge Matt Brumley.
We will build back. It will be better than ever.
In Benton, Arkansas, a building that housed a wellness clinic and a billiards hall collapsed. The city's Matt Dubo says no one was injured.
The wellness clinic had a few people in there and had a patient, but they heard cracking and popping and got out.
In Cedar Hill, Texas, heavy snow caved in the roof of a brand new church. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Former Illinois Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, who responded to a call by Sonia Massey of a possible prowler and ended up shooting and killing her, has been sentenced to 20 years in prison. Grayson said he felt threatened when Massey picked up a pot of boiling water. Massey's father, James Wilburn.
I'm just overwhelmed with joy. We prayed that this would happen, that he would get the maximum sentence.
Congress is working to pass 6 government appropriation bills before tomorrow's deadline to avoid a shutdown. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security is drawing pushback from Senate Democrats after ICE shootings in Minneapolis. A procedural vote to advance the package failed earlier today. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Democrats are ready to pass 5 bipartisan funding bills in the Senate. We're ready to pass them today. We're ready to fund 96% of the federal government today. But the DHS bill still needs a lot of work.
President Trump at a cabinet meeting today announces
we're going to be opening up all commercial airspace over Venezuela.
President Trump also instructed Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and the U.S. military to reopen the airspace by the end of the day. The president closed Venezuela's airspace following the U.S. military raid that ousted Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. Trump also thanked Venezuela's interim leadership since the raid and said they're doing a good job. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
In Georgia, Fulton County Elections Chairwoman Sherry Allen says the seizure yesterday by the FBI of 700 boxes of voting records from the 2020 election came as a surprise because a court date had been scheduled for next month to discuss the transfer to the federal government.
February 9th was the date that we were scheduled to go in to talk about how everything would be transferred over.
Stocks are down on Wall Street this afternoon. The Dow is down 91 points. The Nasdaq has fallen 321 points. This is CBS News.
Real crimes, real justice. Follow and listen to 48 Hours on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ Soft Serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into Soft Serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Tesla is going to eliminate its two larger, older vehicles so it can focus more on robots. WWJ's Jeff Gilbert.
Tesla has said its human-like Optimus robot long-term would be a bigger part of its business than electric cars. CEO Elon Musk says the company will phase out production of its Model S and Model X vehicles in the second quarter to make space to build Optimus robots.
It's part of our overall shift to an autonomous future.
A future that Musk says includes self-driving robo-taxis and building more than 1 million robots a year. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
Tax season is underway, and the IRS expects 164 million people will file returns by April 15th. If you file electronically, the IRS says it should take 21 days or less to receive your refund. If you choose direct deposit, it should take even less time. When filing a paper return, the refund could take 4 weeks or more. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-990-3434. That's 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
And we have liftoff here, 3:06. On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, it's Sean Farish and Tony Bruno. This may break the internet this afternoon. Taking you till 6 o'clock Eastern Time. We will be rocking and rolling all things in between.
I would have worn my matching shirt. I have the red and black. That's your trademark look, though, right?
Yeah, I'm the king of flannel, Tony. That's what everybody knows. Everybody knows me for the king of flannel. As a matter of fact, LFA TV made these flannels because I wouldn't stop wearing flannels on a live stream. So they were like, might as well wear one with LFA TV on it. Sure. So
now, does that mean you're a lesbian? Does that automatically?
No, it does not mean I'm a lesbian.
I'm just checking. Nothing. There's anything wrong with being a lesbian. I love lesbians. I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, no.
The lipstick variety, not the whack job ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. So certainly not. Well, wearing flannel for me does not certainly does not declare me a lesbian. That's for sure. I can't speak for anybody like Don Lemon or Justin Trudeau or anything like that. You know, Katy Perry is in a relationship with Justin Trudeau. Yes. Or he is, or was, or whatever. I hear that's why she wrote the song "I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It." I think that might be what it's about.
By the way, today, you know what today is on this January 29th? National Curmudgeon's Day. National Curmudgeon's Day. Do I fall into that group, a curmudgeon?
I don't think so yet. I think I'm too young to be a curmudgeon still. I think not that there's anything wrong with a good curmudgeon, because sometimes you get like George Carlin in his later days of his comedy was very curmudgeonly, Yeah. He was very angry, kind of cynical,
I got to meet
frustrated.
George Carlin. When I was in LA doing morning radio, he actually called into my show one day listening to me. I thought it was a joke. My producer says, "The guy on the phone says he's George Carlin." I said, "No way." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Can you put him on?" And even if I would have found out if it was a fake George Carlin guy trying to troll me, and it was the real George Carlin who lived in Venice, not far from where I lived, and he called in to say he loved the way I thought, and he loved listening to me every morning. So imagine George Carlin calling you and telling you he liked the way I thought. I mean, isn't that the greatest compliment you can get from a genius of comedy like George Carlin? So I went to see he actually gave me tickets with my then girlfriend to go see him at one of his last tapings in California. So I was there in the front row, backstage, met the whole family. It was an honor, man. I mean, yeah, that's the great thing about doing this, is Sean, you never know who's listening. You never know who likes or doesn't like what you do. But to get a call like that, and then we would talk to each other a long time. I went to his house. What a great guy, and one of the legends.
George Carlin? You went to George Carlin's house?
Yes. And
oh my
he would
goodness!
sit there and write all day. He was literally right around the corner.
He's my all-time favorite. He's my all-time favorite comedian. So you telling me this story he was listening to on the radio, calls in and says he likes the way you thought, and that is one of the biggest compliments I think you could get. I mean,
and
it's
remember,
like
everybody tries to figure out whether George Carlin was far left or far right. He ripped everybody. He ripped everybody.
He was an equal opportunity offender. Yeah,
exactly.
He was an equal opportunity offender. It's like people, I do hear the conversation now where it's like George Carlin, he was this, he was that. And I honestly, he may have just been like a radical moderate. I think he was a radical cynic. I think he was very cynical. I have a couple of his books, but one of them is Brain Droppings. It's a lot of his jokes written down. And it's just, you look at someone like that and you say, look, the creativity is just off the charts. But he was a smart guy, though. And the best thing about his comedy is that it made you think, and it really also kind of made you not want to be the types of people. When he goes down the list of people he wanted to kill, you don't want to be one of those annoying types. I think now if he was around, if George Carlin saw somebody, in a supermarket at the self-checkout asking for help, that strikes me as something that would drive George Carlin probably crazy, I think.
Exactly. The book that he signed for me was called When Will Jesus Bring the Pork Chops? I'm not making it up. That was one of his books, and he signed it for me, and he wrote a very nice salutation in there. Hey, Tony, nice meeting you. Go F yourself. But he spelled out the whole word. So that's the kind of comedy, that's the kind of personality he was. And another great opportunity in my lifetime, you don't know who's listening. So, and I appreciate all the listeners. You don't have to be George Carlin. You don't have to be a celebrity. Right. I don't suck up to celebrities. I just, it's nice to know that people are listening and you just don't know on any given time. But we know the great listeners here at 1210 WPHT logging in this afternoon. We got a lot to talk about, man. It is so crazy. And now the latest story, of course, our favorite governor. No, not Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey. Not Spamberger down there in Virginia. Not Mom Dami, who's already got all kinds of problems less than a month after being sworn in. The storm
a bunch of homeless people froze to death in New York City,
Yeah, and people freeze to death. And then you got Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC praising him for getting the streets clean. What about not getting the homeless people off the streets where they're dying and freezing to death? And then he has last night, and I'm not blaming him for this, but a guy runs into the Chabad in Brooklyn, New York. Did you see this story?
I didn't see it, no.
Yeah. Mamdani, one guy, an anti-Semite, obviously, rams his truck into the Chabad in Brooklyn, New York. What? And then, of course, this morning, he denounces it. Well, people like this are the reason the anti-Semites are the ones he attracts. Miss Rachel is an anti-Semite, and he's doing all kinds of silly videos with her, right?
Yeah, the whales on the bus and all that.
The guy who was arrested, his name is Dan Sorrell, and he's a Muslim from New Jersey. So he gets into his car, drives from New Jersey right over to Brooklyn, and then decides to ram his truck into a Jewish house of worship. And Mamdani right away condemns him. But in the meantime, he's allowing all of these people who hate Jews to be in his administration. So he can have it both ways. But congratulations to New York. You elect the guy, and it only took him 2 weeks to tell you that we don't have any money and I'm going to screw you over for taxes. So forget about the free bus fares. Forget about the free food and free child care. We're going to have to punish people who make money so that we can pretend to care about what you, the everyday New Yorker who's not a multimillionaire, will be doing with your lives. It's a
That's
joke.
right. It used to be, it was supposed to be, Tony, billionaires, right? They were supposed to be the ones who foot the bill, and now it's down to, Mamdani talking about now he's going to have to go after millionaires. And soon it's going to be anybody who has any money whatsoever. You have stories like that. You've got California trying to institute a wealth tax on arts and collectibles, meaning, for example, let's say you have a Babe Ruth rookie card and it's appreciating in value. Well, they're going to come after you for unrealized gains, your home, things like that out there in California. Now, my problem is you're going to have people who are going to leave these states and move to places that are, still a land of common sense and ruin it for the rest of us. I don't want to see that. I also don't want to see some of the things that Newt Gingrich and Mike Lawler are starting to, propose, I guess, on cable news. They're going on their cable news rounds. You have Newt Gingrich, who is obviously one of the former Speaker of the House, Mike Lawler, current member of Congress out of the state of New York, appearing on cable news and proposing the idea, Tony, of amnesty for illegals simply because, well, they've been here for a long time. Newt Gingrich going down and saying as much as, hey, we have to have a national conversation on whether or not there should be amnesty. So I heard that and I said, you know what? This is a great idea. Let's have a national conversation. Okay. Let's post. I posted a few times about this on social media. I put up a poll to my followers. I said, hey, I tagged Newt and I said, let's have a national conversation. Do you support amnesty or no amnesty? And right now it is 99-1 amnesty to no amnesty. And I had one person in my comments say, I accidentally hit the wrong button, but I don't want amnesty. I want to extend that invitation to the great listeners of 1210 WPHT. Give us a call at 855-839-1210. What do you think? You think we should have a national conversation on amnesty? Do you think we should give illegal aliens who have been here for 10, 15, 20 years a path to citizenship if they haven't violated any laws, if they haven't committed any violent crime? Because to me, that doesn't matter. And if you break the law, you break the law. I don't get amnesty if I screw up on my taxes. They're going to come after me for every dollar I was off by plus interest, right? So I want to know, you want to have a national conversation? Let's have this national conversation because for me, the conversation starts with the question, should we do it? And ends with the statement, hell no. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, but that, it's interesting that now we're having a national. Every time somebody wants to start a national conversation, it usually ends like midway through the starting of the national conversation. Meanwhile, we have, we're still trying to get rid of people in the country who are violent criminals, and they don't want to. And now we have all these protests. Tomorrow, people are going to walk off their jobs. I mean, that's all they do. Let's walk off their job. Let's not buy anything so that we can destroy Trump's economy. I mean, these are the kinds of things that the Hollywood morons, like who's the guy, the guy who was the first Hulk? Well, actually, the two Hulks are both idiots. Name. The first guy, Norton, right? Not Jim Norton, the comedian. He's funny.
Ed Norton?
Ed Norton And then you have the current.
Not the one from the Honeymooners either, by the way. That was a fun Ed Norton.
No, he was great. He was great.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, thank you. Mark Ruffalo, they both share the same brain, which is wanting to screw the country over and not buy anything so that they can get the GDP lowered so that Trump will fail. These people want somebody to fail rather than everybody to succeed. And these are the richest people who have zero involvement with everyday Americans. That's the part. The people who are the richest and don't give a crap. If you were on fire, they wouldn't pee on you in a yellow snowbank if you were around. These are the people trying to tell us that we should walk off the jobs on Friday just to send a message. What message does that send? What does it send?
Yeah, what message are you sending? You're not sending any message. You're sending a message that you're in some sort of cult or some sort of club. And this is the problem that I have with what the radical left has been doing, right? Is that you have these people, right, encouraging others to walk off their jobs or encouraging others to confront these ICE agents or confronting, convincing and training and coordinating with each other. Hey, go out in the streets, go blow the whistle, go do this. But you never see the actual organizers of these groups there, right? I mean, when I was on Long Island, Tony, and I lived there and had a grassroots organization, firing on all cylinders. When I told parents, show up at a school board meeting, I was at that meeting. When we had a protest or a rally or some sort of, grassroots type of event, whether we wanted to send a message somewhere, we were going up to Albany to the governor's mansion to do a protest on the steps or whatever, we were there. These organizers aren't there. You don't see the top dogs, the big kahunas of these groups showing up at these protests because they know it's risky. They don't want to die. They'll just sacrifice their pawns, and that's what's going on. With whether it was Renee Good, whether it's this Alex Preddy. This Alex Preddy was an instigator and an agitator, right? I mean, I'm not at the point where I say he should be dead, right? But I'm also not I'm not saying that he deserves to die, right? But he himself could have prevented it, okay? I mean, his choices led to that outcome. If you just don't go on the street and behave like a savage, you can peacefully protest. You can peacefully record law enforcement. You can peacefully follow. You can peacefully speak to them. You can even flip them off if you want. That doesn't matter. To me, the middle finger is the First Amendment. I don't care. The minute you start impeding, you're violating 18 U.S. Code Section 111. You are impeding a federal officer. When you start kicking out taillights of their vehicles, you could be hit with a charge that would have been an enhancement, leaving them in jail up to 8 years, right? Law enforcement saves lives. And if the law was enforced, Alex Preddy would still be alive because of what he did 11 days before he was killed. But we have to get back to personal accountability, Tony, in this country.
Yeah, we were on the air yesterday when that video emerged. And it was supposed to be BBC, but it was this one company, and they had a reporter out there who gave the video to the BBC. So then all of a sudden, the Chris Cuomos and all these far left, Chris Kalissa, and all these people got their talking points from their pals in the Democratic Party that, hey, this doesn't prove anything. Nobody said it proved anything. What it proved is that this guy who they've canonized as a saint was out there a week before he was killed who never would have been killed if he was arrested that day. And the video, by the way, isn't just the one that you saw on the news, which they had to show. There were multiple people recording it from that same intersection. And if you listen to it, I don't even think we can play it. This guy wasn't just out there protesting. He was calling people names. He was using homophobic language. And then he kicked the back taillight out, which I don't know about you. If you kick the back taillight out of a cop car, I don't think they would say, oh, no problem, we have insurance. Just go home and be okay.
Right.
So this guy was yelling some of the most insane stuff. And he was using, again, profanity doesn't mean you should be shot. And they didn't shoot him. But here's what happened. The fact that the Minneapolis Police Department was told not to arrest any of these legal observers, as they called them, is the reason people like this were allowed to continue to do whatever they wanted. And I'm saying if they had arrested him on that day and then had him in jail for some psychiatric evaluation, because there's no doubt that this guy was mentally deranged to a point where he thought going out there with a gun in his back pocket and confronting ICE agents, again, he's allowed to have a gun. But to say that video is not incriminating is ridiculous. That doesn't mean he deserved to die. But if they had arrested him because they weren't allowed to arrest any of these legal observers, he would have probably been put in maybe in a mental, not in even a mental home, in evaluation. Because when you have crazy people on the streets, you can see that they're crazy. You walk around in many cities and there are people talking to themselves. They're not mentally there. They get taken in for observation, and then you find out whether or not they should be allowed back out on the streets. And if they had held a guy for at least a week, maybe he wouldn't have been out there again the day he was shot by the ICE officers. That's all I'm saying.
It's very possible.
But the Democrats are now, that's their spin on this. They all had to get together last night and say, oh, this video doesn't prove anything. Well, most people are saying, hey, common sense people, this is a smoking gun. This guy was
what it does is it
peacefully protesting.
It's an indictment of his character, right? He's not this whole new term of legal observer. Let's see how far, I'd love to see how far I could push that envelope. I'm going to go up to a liberal's car and I'm going to kick its taillight out. And I'm going to say, I'm just a legal observer, right? It's one of those things where I've seen a lot of people do this too, where you're asking a question, but you're actually making a statement, and then you hide behind, well, I'm just asking questions. No, you're not. You're doing something. Well, I'm just a legal observer. I'm a constitutional legal observer. Well, constitutionally, you're allowed to legally observe so long as it is peaceful. You mentioned Chris Cuomo, and one of the things that he said this, it was 26 now, so 6 years ago, during the Summer of Love, and he was like, well, show me where in the Constitution it says protests have to be peaceful. And it says it in the First Amendment that Americans, or the people protected under the First Amendment, have the right peaceably to assemble. It says it right there. He just decided to ignore that. You mentioned the left. They took this. They said, well, this doesn't mean he deserves to be dead. Nobody's arguing that he deserves to be dead. I will argue in favor of the idea that the shooting was justified because he was carrying a gun. Somebody removed the gun. He started reaching for something else. They don't know if it's another firearm. They don't know if it's another weapon. They don't know what's going on. You've got 1,000,001 people surrounding this whole situation, blowing whistles, screaming, yelling. You can't hear. There's no communication. Now, does this firearm discharge on its own? Was it a negligent discharge that forced somebody to pull the trigger and all this? Well, none of that happens if this guy's not impeding federal officers. Again, I don't want to see anyone killed. But that's the difference, though, Tony, between us and the left. You see, we don't want to see people die. Whenever I organized protests, I always made sure, don't put yourself in a situation where you can get yourself hurt. I never wanted to be the reason why somebody went to an event and wound up coming home dead or wind up going to the hospital. Never, ever in my life did I want to have to deal with that. But the left is different. They love it when their protesters get hurt. They love it when their protesters get killed, because then they can do what you're talking about. They can send out the message to their whole committee, and they can go ahead and fire up the outrage machine, fire up the fundraising machine, fire up the mainstream media to clutch their pearls and make their political opponents look bad. Well, I don't think it's working anymore.
I want to play this quick video, one of my favorite videos. Ana Navarro, one of the heifers on The View, and she came from another country. I think she's Cuban-American, and, sometimes she makes sense and sometimes she's a whack job. So I guess this was on The View, right? They were asking her about this Alex Preddy guy. And, they canonize this guy as a saint. And he's not a saint. I'm not saying he deserved to die, okay? Because that's did he deserve to die? No,
that's their default argument.
He would have avoided dying if he had not been in the wrong place and not peacefully protesting. He wasn't carrying a sign. He was carrying a whistle. He kicks out a light. He's calling them. So let's play this clip. I don't know. You have it back in the studio. I don't know what number it is on the sheet. Ana Navarro. Yeah, we have it there. Cut 23. It's a side by side. Ana Navarro first talking about this Preddy guy, the nurse, and calling him. Let's go to this, and then the side by side. The video next to it, after she says he's a perfect guy, is that another angle of the video we all saw yesterday, which was the BBC one, but this was taken from across the street by someone else with a camera phone. Let's go to the tape.
They chose to they killed the wrong guy, right? Because this is like the perfect guy.
That's in trash. Kicks the car, spits on it, and
Perfect
then
guy.
Kicks out the back light.
Yep. Perfect, though.
And
Perfect
people,
guy.
That's what's wrong
He's
with
just
that.
a nurse, Tony. He's just a
He's
nurse.
just
He's just a nurse.
saint.
I couldn't
He's an angel.
imagine, by the way, this guy's an ICU nurse being treated by this person with a temperament and with judgment or lack thereof of an Alex Preddy. I couldn't imagine it, So you have, of course, you've got the zoo. I call it the zoo, right? You called it the heifer, one of the heifers on the zoo. It's the zoo over there with these ladies. You've got mainstream media, cable news networks hyperventilating. Oh my gosh, he was such a great person. He was such this, he was such that. I'm not saying he was an awful guy. I'm saying he's a guy who at some point made a lot of bad choices. And unfortunately, those bad choices led to his death, and it was completely and totally preventable. We're going to come back on the other side of this break and jump into the Alex Preddy situation. We'll jump into, if you want to give us a call, 855-839-1210, the national conversation that Newt Gingrich would like to have on amnesty. I'd love to have this conversation. And by the way, if you are pro-amnesty, I would love to hear from you and specifically hear why you believe it is okay to break the law and face no consequences. 855-839-1210. It's Farish and Bruno carrying it all the way to 6 o'clock, where the Rich Zioli Show will be taking over. 855-839-1210. You're listening to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Sean Farish and Tony Bruno will be right back after this.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus continues. Live from Australia. Featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski.
He is an animal.
Defends his belt at home in an explosive rematch against Diego Lopez.
You gotta be kidding me!
And the always dangerous Dan Hooker.
Yes.
Throws down with powerhouse Benoit Saint-Denis in a high-action lightweight showdown.
Oh! There's never been anything like this.
UFC 325, Saturday, January 31st, only on Paramount Plus.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details. For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules. Weather sponsored by Staples.
Rather windy this evening. Tonight, clear sky, low of around 8. Tomorrow, high only 20, mostly sunny. It'll get very cold overnight heading into Saturday with a low of 4. On Saturday, partly cloudy, high 24. Sunday, clouds and maybe some snow for some of the area.
2026 is here, and at Staples, deals mean business. Get that back-to-business energy with up to $100 off custom print orders on business cards, flyers, signs, and more. Shop everything you need to fuel the momentum in-store and online. Staples, that was easy. Ends 131. Here's retirement phase expert Joanne Small-Canella with today's report.
In the words of Mark Twain, history does not repeat itself, but it does rhyme. This week's expert report looks at warning signs most everyday investors ignored before the Nifty 50 market crash of 1973 and how those warning signs are extremely similar to the market conditions we're experiencing now. As the markets boomed after World War II, investors crowded into a small group of well-known can't-miss stocks known as the Nifty 50. These 50 stocks were valued at nearly 45 times their earnings, and by 1972, they made up almost half of the entire S&P value. That confidence was shaken in 1973 when oil prices quadrupled, causing the S&P 500 to fall 50%, while those so-called can't-miss stocks, they declined 60 to 80%. Now, currently, just 7 companies represent about 36% of the market's total value, and 6 of those companies trade at roughly 25 to 50 times their earnings, while Tesla is valued at more than 200 times their earnings. So let me ask you, do you hear the rhyme? Historically, market drops vary in their size, duration, and what causes them. But they all rhyme in that they strike when Wall Street looks invincible and leaves everyday investors high and dry. If you're in or near retirement, it is crucial that you heed these warnings and learn how you can protect your nest egg without sacrificing growth opportunities. The exclusive crash-proof retirement system is designed to provide market-like returns without market risk. Should the 7 largest companies on Wall Street continue to drive the markets higher, then you can enjoy greater potential for double-digit interest returns. But should the markets crash, your entire nest egg is protected. Schedule a no-cost appointment with a retirement phase expert today. Simply call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
On a beautiful Thursday afternoon, the 29th, Curmudgeon's Day. So all you curmudgeons out there, if you want to call in, you're welcome too. You could be old, young, male, female. We don't care. We don't care about your sexual preference. We don't care about what you're having for dinner. But we do care that Tim Walz will never be in an elected office again. I don't know if you saw this last night, Sean. He went on with one of those Democratic media slurpers. I don't even know this guy's name. But last night he went on with an MSNB Now guy and trying to get sympathy now as he begs for money from people because he knows he's never going to be elected again. He knows he can't run for public office. So now he's begging for money just like Ilhan Omar is and just like every crook in Minnesota who has stolen billions of dollars of our tax dollars to try to stay away and have people ignore the whole Somali scam. So this is Tim Walz last night. We'll play this real quick. Tell me if you feel sorry for this guy now.
We're already doing it. Do you regret jumping out before such a consequential moment?
No, and part of it was true. Look, I recognize that I'm a lightning rod, and this is a tough space for I'm in because I know they hate me personally, and they take it out on my constituents because old white guys who are former governors tend to land on their feet okay type of thing. But in all fairness on the timing, I removed myself, and then 2 days later, Renee Good is murdered. But I think one of the things is I have no political consideration, will never run for an elected office again.
Never again.
Never again. And I will just do the work. And what I found is, again, I'm going to say this. There's heroes on the streets that we don't know their names. They're never going to run for office. And those grass-top leaders brought this administration to their knees this week to do something about it. So there's other ways to serve, and I'll find them.
Yeah. How about dropping the soap in the prison shower once you're in the slammer, Timmy?
I think he'd enjoy that.
What a hero.
I think he'd enjoy
there's
that.
other things. We have all of these soldiers out there who are threatening ICE agents who are doing their job that they were supposed to do, and why Trump won the election while Joe Biden let all these people free. You know, you saw the videos. Assault me, MFer. This is what he's trying to get injured by federal authorities. And again, no, all of you people who are a little slow, he did not deserve to die. But the fact that he was out a week earlier, and even CNN reported on this story, that he broke his rib a week before. So he goes out, confronts agents, spits on them, calls them all kinds of names, kicks the car, kicks the taillight out in the back. and then is saying the most vile things. And then a week later, he goes into another situation, which was dangerous, where they were trying to arrest a criminal illegal, and he interfered with police work. I don't know about you, Sean, but if you try to interfere with some police action, do you think the cops are going to say, yeah, come on in here, man. It's okay. You want to call me some names? That's all right. Go ahead. How about blowing a whistle right in my ear? How about spraying something on me? How about putting some apple cider vinegar and spraying it with a needle in my face? Ridiculous.
No, listen. Generally, when I see law enforcement at work, my whole thing is to stay away and let them do their job, right? And that's why I've never been shot by law enforcement, and I've never been killed by law enforcement, right? I mean, we had a very dangerous situation happen here just under a year ago when we got swatted at home, right? We had people they called a fake SWAT call. We had cops, guns drawn at us right here in Tennessee. And the number one thing I said to my wife when we were navigating through that situation was, don't make any sudden movements. Let's slow down. Let's turn off the emotions, right? And let's make sure that whatever we do and whatever we say, we do not give these officers any sort of indication that their lives are in danger so that they don't pull that trigger. And, what happened? We knew it was nonsense. If I had kicked down the front door and said, what are you doing? I didn't do anything, I would have got shot. Okay. But you go through it calmly and you will have your day. And we right after they cleared the house, realized we weren't a threat. They said, well, what do you think this is about? I said, go look at the back of my pickup truck. That's what it's about. It's political. Okay. And that's what it was. But you don't give law enforcement any sort of indication or any sort of excuse or any sort of reason to believe that they're not going to go home and see their families at night. That's what Renee Good did. Renee Good tried to run over a federal immigration officer. She tried to run him over, okay? And that guy had already been involved in a situation where he was dragged by a moving vehicle, somebody trying to run him over once before. Don't do that. If you don't do that, you're alive, okay? If Alex Preddy doesn't resist arrest, which is illegal in every jurisdiction across the country, if he doesn't resist arrest, he's still alive. Moreover, if they had arrested him 11 days prior to the incident for, assaulting federal officers and damaging federal property in 18 U.S. Code Section 111, again, the impeding a federal officer statute, he's probably in jail or at least not in a position to be out on the streets again, putting himself in harm's way.
Absolutely. It's a very common sense thing. And the swatting thing, you notice that's calmed down lately? They have to try to pick a daily thing. And now, of course, yesterday, the FBI invaded, or I had a warrant to go into the Fulton County voting area. Yeah, and they pulled out boxes. And now, so the left is now saying, oh, Trump is still mad because wasting government money because he couldn't accept the results of an election. That's not what this is about. These people lied, and then you had actual election officials going on tape and admitting it, and then taunting everybody. It's not about that they want the election to be overturned and Trump was declared the winner. They know that there was crime there. And it's amazing. They want people held accountable for their actions. Yet what they did in Fulton County, Georgia, and Atlanta in 2020, I don't want nobody's going to have the election's not going to be overturned. But you can see the panic now because they've got the records and there's a lot of evidence against them. Take their evidence, put it out there because they have to go before Congress. And now they're panicking. Oh, we were going to bring the records in when we were going to go before Congress in a couple of weeks. No, you weren't. That's why they had to raid you. And the FBI does this all the time. When the FBI was raiding all the Trump officials and getting their mug shots without proving a crime, this was obviously rigged. How about Fani Willis was the executive, right? So there couldn't be more corrupt people. Well, there are in many other states, but Atlanta, Georgia is the epicenter of career politicians and crooked politicians. So to me, I want those people who did that, I want them held accountable. That's all we want, right? If you commit a crime, which is doctoring and I don't care, Trump lost the election and he didn't win, but he won again. So it's not about trying to get the election overturned. That's over. That's why the fake January 6th stuff happened. Now, we're not relitigating that. They are relitigating that. But the bottom line is the people involved in election fraud in Atlanta, because they're going to try it again this year in the midterms, they're going to try to find ways. That's why they don't want voter ID. That's why they don't want any way for people to be identified when they go and cast a vote. We want people to vote legally. We want people to vote with ID. They don't. Why don't they want people to vote with ID? Why?
Well, it's because it makes it easy for people who shouldn't, because they know those votes are going to likely land in their column. We have a couple callers. Amnesty situation. I want to go to Maureen in Wynwood. She's got an opinion about amnesty and comments about the nurse's behavior from the perspective of an RN. Let's go to Maureen. What's up, Maureen?
Hi, you guys. Thanks for being on, and thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Sean, I completely agree with you about amnesty. I think it's no. The answer simply is no. We already tried that, and we know what happened. And I think if they broke the law, and I can't get away with breaking the law, nor either you guys or anybody else, so why should they? It's very simple to me. It's very simple. It's not difficult to think through. And then my other comment, which saddens me greatly, are these RNs, especially an advanced practice one that wished, pure evil on people. And I'm just horrified by that. As an RN of more than 50 years, and I still have an active RN license, I'm horrified that there are people in the healing profession that would even touch people, because that evilness comes out of them and contaminates everything around them. And the people
exactly.
that they
And the one
encounter.
nurse, and here's the other thing, Maureen, they're going on TikTok and bragging about them not wanting to take care of people. And they got that one chick that had the first one she was in, and get a needle and put something in it. They finally got her and fired her. And here in Florida, our attorney general said she will not get a job working anywhere in the state of Florida. Maybe at a strip club in Miami, because she was pretty good looking. Maybe she can get a job at one of the Miami strip clubs, because she should never, ever work in the medical profession ever again in Florida. She can go somewhere else and try to get a job. But the bottom line, people like that who are telling you their evil intent. I mean, that's how stupid people are now. They're proud of going on and wishing death on other people they disagree with. When has that ever happened in our history? When have people become this delusional and hate-filled
Well, that's a good point.
over politics?
That's a good point.
Well,
and
I
Maureen
know,
brings up a good point.
It's just horrifying.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you, Maureen. Yeah, I mean, anybody who's you go to medical school, you spend all this money, you go through all these classes, you learn, you want to help people. You don't get into the medical profession so that you can kill people that you don't like or you disagree with.
Well, the idea is first do no harm, right? It's not first find out who your patient voted for and then decide if you want to do them harm, right? And they're looking at, is this a white guy? Is this a MAGA voter? Is this this? Is this that? I'm going to have, you're going to have a rough day. We can't function as a society if we have to have questions about, on both ends of this, right? If your doctors are looking at you through a political lens, or if we're looking at our doctors through a political lens. There used to be trust, right? Where you would go to the doctor and they would give you a prescription. They would do something for you to help you get better. And now I feel like there's a lot of mistrust. There's a lack of trust there. I mean, I'll say it. I don't like going to the doctor because I don't know what the hell they're going to give me these days. I went in for a sinus infection a couple of years ago and they gave me something to treat anthrax. I said, how bad is this sinus infection, right?
By the way,
I was like, Doc.
On this National Curmudgeon Day, I'm old enough to remember when the doctor would come to your house. Remember that?
Yeah, house call.
Fill out all these forms. All of these, you have to sit down now with a nurse practitioner, and then they take. And I guess that's the system now, because the people who claim that there's no health care available, there's health care available. Right. I have health care. I have Medicare because I earned it through working 50 plus years and putting into it. But people want Medicare for free because they know Medicaid is the crappy Obamacare that no new doctors want to take.
Right.
Doctors don't want to take Medicaid, which is Obamacare, because they don't get paid. They may not get paid for any of the treatments. At least Medicare, if you qualify for it, you have put money into it, even though you still have to pay. You have to pay the fees that they go in. I got to pay $45 every time I go see my doctor. to tell them my butt's okay.
Copay.
You know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
copay.
Yeah.
So you still have to pay for health insurance, even if you supposedly get it for free. Nothing is free. The dental problem in this country is the
Nothing's
worst.
free.
Dentists don't cover any. The dental laws in this country, the dental insurance laws are criminal. They won't even come. They won't even help Robin get a filling fix because she doesn't have the proper insurance that covers routine, like a filling fell out, but you can't go there unless you have, a certain policy. So when she buys a certain policy, and then they say all these dentist offices take it, they make an appointment, and then they tell her, oh, sorry, we don't take your insurance for a filling. This isn't like to get beautiful teeth.
Yeah, it's not. This is not moving heaven and earth. It's not moving heaven and earth, right?
It's not cosmetic. I get
Right.
it. And I think
No.
the whole cosmetic surgery thing has really put a stain on people who just want basic dental care. Hey, look, I lost a tooth. Can I get it replaced? Oh, no, we don't cover that. It's going to cost you $10,000.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's criminal. Like you said, it's criminal. We'll have more on that, more on the amnesty question. I see when we get back here at Big Al in Mullica Hill. I'd love to hear from Big Al on the other side of this break. We'll be back. Sean Farish, Tony Bruno here, wrapping up hour one on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Stay right there.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
Have you been thinking about doing a Roth conversion, but the upfront taxes are holding you back? Welcome to Rothright. We can show you how to significantly reduce taxes on a conversion, potentially saving hundreds of thousands, even millions in taxes over your lifetime. A Roth conversion will give you tax-free income, eliminate required minimum distributions, and leave a tax-free estate for your heirs. Call 855-415-ROTH. That's 855-415-ROTH. Or visit Rothright.com. Accredited investors only. Rothright is not a financial advisory firm. Consult with a tax professional before making any financial decision.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164.
Ready to redefine your home style? Bucks County Estate Traders offers a breathtaking collection of furniture to suit every taste. From timeless antiques to chic modern designs, discover thousands of meticulously cared for pieces, each one inspected for quality. Explore their ever-changing inventory, featuring styles from classic Victorian to sleek contemporary and charming coastal. And with their expert team often reupholstering finds, you're sure to discover unique treasures ready to make a statement in your home. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or their showroom in Hatfield today.
Your day doesn't wait. Between the school run, the office, and the grocery list, you need to know what's happening in Philly now, not an hour from now.
At KYW News Radio, we're obsessed with your quality of life. That means real-time traffic for your commute, weather that actually helps you plan your weekend, and fearless reporting on the local leaders making decisions that affect your wallet.
Stay connected. Stay informed. Tell your smart speaker to play KYW News Radio.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Calling on East Greenville to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it today.
Emotion.
Sweet emotion.
WPHT. Yeah, Tony Bruno, Sean Farish, and a story that'll be close to your heart because if people don't know by now, I mean, you're internationally known and known to rock the microphone. But I was talking about George Carlin calling into my show one day. But real Donald Trump, the president of the United States, actually follows you, and then he retweets stuff. You know, I don't know if he doesn't follow me, but one of the interesting stories that occurred last night is this guy, Maze Moore. I don't know if you follow him. He is absolutely
I love
great.
Maze Moore. I've been following Maze for a long time. He's great.
I don't even know the guy, but he follows me back, and I appreciate it because the guy is sharp. He has some great content. So he's the guy who posted a video last night, which is, and now that Donald Trump has reposted it on Truth Social, which is Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren reading from the book of Alex Pretty.
Caring for people was at the core of who he was. He was incapable of causing harm. Alex carried patience, compassion, and calm as a steady light within him. Even at the very end, that light was there. I recognized his familiar stillness and signature calm composure.
There he is.
There he is. Perfect guy. Calm composure. Okay.
If you didn't see the video, it's all over the place. And so while she's reading this obituary, the video playing behind her is Alex Pretty in the January 13th video, where he had a gun in the back of his pocket. He was calling cops names, spitting at him, kicked out a back taillight on a car as she was talking about him being a nice. And again, for all these people like Darren Duca, nobody says he should have been killed. He could not. He could avoided being killed if he had been arrested by the people in Minnesota who promote this kind of behavior without arresting anybody for impeding an arrest, which is a federal crime.
That's right.
Get your act straight. Get your head on straight.
And people want to say that if we already got a comment like this on X, Tony. They said, "Well, you shouldn't be that." Nobody's saying that he should have died. Nobody's saying that he should have been shot.
Exactly. He could have avoided being shot.
Yeah, that's all he's going to do is all he has to do is abide by the law, right? And the law says you are not allowed to impede a federal officer. Period. That does, so just don't do that. It's not about the gun to me. It's not about, and now in Minnesota, there may be a law that says you're not allowed to take a gun to a protest. If I was a civil rights group or a Second Amendment group there, I'd try and get that overturned by taking that to the Supreme Court, okay, on the grounds of it's an infringement on the Second Amendment. But all you have to do, I've gone to protests, I've gone to rallies, I've encountered cops. I've never even been detained because I don't put myself in a situation. If they say back up, guess what I do? I back up, okay? They're like, oh, well, you're just complying. Doesn't matter. Yes, because I want to live. I don't want these situations. And Alex Preddy was consumed by some sort of mental illness, Tony. And we'll get into more of this when we come back and fire up hour 2. He was consumed by mental illness. He was consumed by hatred. He was consumed by whatever this woke mind virus is that he believed in. And it resulted in him losing his life. And if you ask me, it ain't worth it. We'll talk more about this in hour 2 because we gotta bounce for a quick break. But we'll be back to talk more about this on hour 2. 855-839-1210. I know I said Big Al. If you're still there, I'd love to get you in on this amnesty conversation, on the Alex Preddy conversation. Anybody else is there? We'll be right back to fire up hour 2 right after this.
You know, this is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about. But if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/plan for 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
Announcing that gold has surpassed $5,000 an ounce, and silver is at an all-time high as well. If you need cash to help pay those bills, then you must go to the Estates Roadshow. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, and even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold and silver are hot. 3 locations this week: Chestnut Hill, Bensalem, and Doylestown. Bring your gold, silver, coins, diamonds, and watches, even broken pieces, and get cash on the spot. The prices of gold and silver are at an all-time high, so there's never been a better time to sell. No appointments, no fees, no pressure, just friendly professional buyers with over 35 years in the business. Go to the Estates Roadshow, Monday through Friday in Chestnut Hill at the Chestnut Hill Hotel, in Bensalem at the Courtyard by Marriott, and in Doylestown at the Doylestown Inn. Get some cash in your hands today to help pay those bills at the Estates Roadshow. For more info, visit estatesroadshow.com and follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook for all upcoming events.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
Federal Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, where he's being held on charges of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. CBS's Jake Rosen with more.
According to a court affidavit, Mark Anderson approached the intake area inside the MDC's prison welcome area and claimed to be a uniformed member of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Said he was an FBI agent in possession of paperwork signed by a judge authorizing the release of a specific inmate who is in custody at the MDC. That inmate, a federal law enforcement source told CBS News, was Luigi Mangione.
Some 500 National Guard troops are now clearing blocked roads in Mississippi. Nearly 1,000 linemen are working to restore lingering power outages in Nashville, Tennessee. And with another winter storm in this weekend's forecast, North Carolina Governor Josh Stein announces,
"Right now, I've just declared a state of emergency for this storm, separate from the one that we had last week. It helps us to mobilize our state emergency management team."
For business owners like bakery owner Casey Shaw in Shreveport, Louisiana, they've taken a financial hit, and she has just reopened after a days-long closure.
We did miss sales all day Saturday. We missed most of Tuesday. So really we're trying to play catch up right now.
Border czar Tom Homan, now in Minneapolis at the request of President Trump, says feds are working on a drawdown plan for immigration officers there.
Nothing's ever perfect, and anything can be improved on. And what we've been working on is making this operation safer, more efficient, by the book.
Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison says he had a cordial meeting with Homan yesterday in which he explained relevant Minnesota laws regarding immigrants with criminal histories and advocated for a joint state and federal investigation into the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Stocks closed mixed on Wall Street. The Dow closed up 56 points. NASDAQ fell 172. This is CBS News.
Real crimes, real justice. Follow and listen to 48 Hours on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
The Library of Congress is adding 25 movies to the National Film Registry.
The new additions include The Truman Show.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Clueless.
As if.
The Karate Kid.
No such thing, bad student, only bad teacher.
And Pixar's The Incredibles.
Where is my super suit?
Inception, The Big Chill, White Christmas, and Philadelphia were also added.
Streets of Philadelphia.
As were 6 silent films released before 1926. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Melania Trump is capping her first year after becoming First Lady again with the global release of a documentary about the 20 days before she and President Trump returned to the White House. The Kennedy Center in Washington has scheduled a screening for the movie Melania tonight, one day before its release in theaters worldwide. The Trumps are expected to walk the red carpet. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-990-3434. That's 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon. It's Thursday, the 29th of January. 2 more days, and then we flip the calendar and flip our lids, because that's what we do. It's Tony Bruno, the great Sean Farish, a man followed by President Trump. How many people can say that? President Trump doesn't follow me.
I don't know if he's actually following, but he has reposted some of my stuff, and so he's got his eye on some of the silly things. My Christmas carols were a big hit with the administration this year, apparently. Feliz Deportad and Tis the Season to Deport Him. Yeah.
We may have to do that, because your Trump impression is absolutely spot on, man. I mean,
we said Prospero viaje y no vuelvas, which means have a safe trip and don't come back. So,
exactly right.
Had the sombrero on, the whole nine.
Who travels around. I want to switch gears, though, because we have another crumb bum that we have to talk about. And it's personal with me, because I'm a Pennsylvania guy, a Philly guy, and we have a governor who has not spent 10 seconds in his own state in the last 2 weeks while he's pimping a book that costs $30, and he's gone on every podcast, every show, The View. And again, he can do whatever he wants. But when we have snowstorms and Pittsburgh does not have enough snow plows to get the streets clean, and Philadelphia has people dying on the streets, this guy's going from talk show to podcast, and now he's going to be on with Brett Baer tonight on Fox News. And I hope Brett Baer doesn't just give him the typical tongue washing that all of these other morons do. And one guy who really knows what a slime bag Josh Shapiro is our next guest. Guy Shiraki. And we talked to him several times, senior fellow at the Commonwealth Foundation. He writes for Broad and Liberty and Real Clear, Pennsylvania, former congressional candidate, and he joins us right now. Guy, do you think Brett Baer is going to give him a softball interview tonight, or is he going to ask him the tough questions about all the things that he's promised and has never delivered on?
Hey, well, first of all, I'm proud, Tony. You retweet stuff that I do, so that makes me just as happy. I don't need President Trump. Look,
Sean doesn't retweet my stuff either. I need to get I only have 89,000. If Sean with 433,000 would just tell his people to follow
433.
Me.
How did I get that many? Here's inflation. Inflation here. It's 415. Okay, let's be honest and realistic.
I'm sorry. I don't check the numbers. I just know I never get over 89,000, and I'm stuck there for decades. All right, Guy.
Yeah,
Brett Baer. You think Brett Baer is going to give him a softball interview tonight?
No, and most of all, what I hope is, I know the two of you as trained professionals, especially Tony, your many years, it's called a follow-up question. Yes. Sometimes I think these folks have like 5 written questions on the back of a business card, and they just want to get them like hole punched, and you say, okay, thanks, you've done your job. I mean, how about a follow-up? I mean, the New York Times actually let him say, I've shown my distance and independence from the Democratic establishment. I had a lot of reservations about the COVID regulations and the COVID lockdown. And they just go, okay, next question. I mean, the man was Attorney General of Pennsylvania. He went to court 14 times to defend every lockdown and mandate, keep your kids out of school, keep police tape around swing sets, to keep senior citizens locked in nursing homes, to tell you couldn't go to church. And then he has the audacity to say, I had reservations. He didn't have any reservations going to court as Attorney General. He didn't have any reservations trying to keep the Constitution from being changed to give us our rights back. So, look, I think Brett Baer will do a good job. But, I mean, the bar has been set really low. I mean, asking a follow-up question, challenging an answer would get him a Pulitzer Prize. Brett's a professional. I think he'll handle it well. Look, I hope he begins with the fact that the last time Governor Shapiro was on Fox News, he told the whole nation that he was for school choice and wanted to sign it. And then when he was handed it 30 days later, he vetoed it. I'd like him to start there.
Exactly. And this is the thing. I don't know Josh Shapiro personally. I have no reason to dislike the guy other than he's a weasel, and I know he's lying. And he's lying on national channels because he obviously the governor thing, he doesn't care about that. He wants to do it so he can continue to run for president in 2028, and that's his right, and he can do that. but don't lie to people about what you've done and all the things you. And he still is anti-ICE. He hates law enforcement, just like the DA, the thug DA, Larry Krasner, who wants to hunt down ICE agents. That's what's happening in his state. Pittsburgh can't clear the snow because they don't have plows, and he's on every stinking talk show. Just like Mamdani, he's doing photo ops every day when 10 people are dropping dead in the ice-cold cities, streets of New York. And now he's crying that he doesn't have enough money to pay for anything after promising everybody they were going to get stuff for free.
That it was all going to be free. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, in Philly, so the governor's on his book tour, which has taken him to Stephen Colbert and The View. It has taken him. It started in Philadelphia, and as you guys may know, the first stop in the tour was in Philly at the public library, which is used as an emergency cold shelter for people who don't have homes to be housed and kept out of the cold. They had to remove the homeless because the governor was coming to hawk his book to an audience. I just, look, believe what you want. Run for any office you want. Just don't give me hypocrisy. Don't tell me about leadership and compassion, and then empty out the library so that you can do a media show and then go on Stephen Colbert and then go on The View. Look, he's the governor. He can get back on Colbert or The View. He could have come home. He could have done those shows by Zoom. And imagine what we would have all thought of him if he had said, I can't do this. I need to be in Philadelphia in a command center. I need to go to Pittsburgh. We need to figure a way to get Pittsburgh folks get their streets clean. We would have all thought much more of him than this book, which is really, as you know, nothing more than an excuse to go on these shows and talk about why he should be president. Look, again, that's his right. But he used the State House to run for commissioner. He used commissioner to run for attorney general. He used attorney general to run for governor. And now he's using governor to run for president. God bless America. It's a political success story. Just somewhere along the way, somebody should ask him what he ever did in one of these jobs.
Didn't he sue the Little Sisters of the Poor too? I mean, this guy sues nuns. I mean, it's incredible. And now, of course, he's distancing himself from the people that screwed him over for walls. And he didn't realize that. They said he was too Jewish. Kamala Harris and the Democrats said they didn't take Josh Shapiro because he's Jewish. And then he's still sucking up to the party. Obviously, he's distancing himself from those people because he knows that they failed, and that's why they didn't win the White House.
Yeah, well, look, I run in races I've won, and I've come in second, which is polite to say I didn't win. But I imagine being turned down for vice president because they picked Tim Walz. I mean, if we all thought that Kamala Harris was lacking, I mean, she's Thomas Jefferson compared to this guy. He's insane. He's insane. So Shapiro's got to be looking and thinking, I'm a bright guy. I went to good schools. I was attorney general. I could do the job. They passed over me so that they could pick this lunatic who jumps up and down, waves his hand, and talks about Nazis. So, look, I mean, I'm sure, Shapiro's right to run. I just would ask, whether it's Bret Baier in the New York Times or any station, just ask him, what is it you accomplished as governor? What is it you accomplished as attorney general? What is it that you would do as president that you can point to that you actually accomplished? Because, to your point, Tony, he should be here during the storm. He wasn't. He went on national TV to say he was for school choice. He vetoed the only school choice bill to reach his desk. Economically, U.S. News and World Report puts us at 41st. A bunch of other national surveys have us, sometimes they have us as high as 38th. So we're somewhere between 38th and 40th or 41st for a state that has major universities, major medical centers, more energy than Saudi Arabia, biotech, Google, Vanguard, Hershey, and somehow we're stuck at the 41st state. And this guy's running for president. Imagine telling America, I'm going to do for America what I did for Pennsylvania. Most kids can't read, and the economy's 41st. I mean, and he's on the top tier of candidates. I mean, it only goes down from him.
Yeah, he's trying to get more popularity than he and Gavin Newsom are doing a lot of yapping. Gavin Newsom goes to Davos. Again, his right. He can do whatever he wants. But they're trying to put themselves, and there's going to be so many of these Democrats. Chris Murphy in Connecticut doesn't spend any time in his state. He's running for president every day. Anytime a camera goes on, he's ready to go in there and rip Trump. These people don't even stay in their own states that the people voted them in. That's what's a joke about this. Hey, listen, you can do what you want. We got Guy Shiraki on here, senior fellow. I'm a senior fellow at the Tony Bruno Foundation, so send me money. But I don't write for Broad and Liberty, but I am free. I am a man who believes in life, liberty, but not Levin. So that's my personal
Hey, I'm a senior fellow. When I'm a senior fellow, and if I don't ever remember that, the girls I coach in softball, travel softball, and Little League remind me that I'm old. They recently wanted to remind me that now that my hair's gray, you can dye it. It doesn't have to be gray. And when I recently left to go down to fantasy camp, one of the girls said, Coach Guy, please just don't die on us when you go to old man baseball camp. So I am a very senior fellow, and if I ever forget it, the kids I coach remind me that I'm a very senior fellow.
So you went to the Phillies fantasy camp in Clearwater, which I did many years ago when I was in my 30s, and I had to run, and I was sore after 2 days. How did you make out? Did you do the whole week? Did you get to the big game in the end of the week?
We did. Yeah, I did. I had a blast. The Phillies do a wonderful job. The players are great. ESF puts it on like they put on a lot of camps for kids for baseball, soccer, football. It's a blast. I mean, if baseball is your thing, and I grew up, I actually made it to one game at Connie Mack before it closed. I mean, to see Larry Boa, John Kruk, Matt Stairs and Aaron Rowan were my coaches. A great group of guys that were very supportive of me. Most of the players on my team play men's league baseball. I was one of, I think, 2 players that didn't play men's league, and my teammates cheered me on. I had a blast. I made a nice catch. Ruben Amaro gave me a tip of the cap. I mean, they're just supportive, and if you love it, if you love baseball, it's a great experience. And as I mentioned, a column I wrote today in Broad Liberty, look, some of the guys are great athletes. I mean, they played in college. They just glide for the ball. But there are folks there that are wearing knee braces that they're in their 70s or 80s, and they just love this sport, and they just want to be around it. And you meet Charlie Manuel. Charlie Manuel can talk more about hitting than I can talk about politics, and it's just classic recession. It's a great experience. I loved it. The players were supportive, and the chance to see these folks up close and personal is a great experience, and I thank them.
I still have my uniform. I still have my uniform from Dream Week, the pinstripe, and my number was 25, and that was for my idol, Del Unser. That's why I picked 25. And Tony Gonzalez, too, was also 25, one of my early heroes in the Phillies.
Del Unser, the pinch hitter, who came off the bench countless times to keep games alive for us. Yeah, I did 26. There were a lot of 26s, a lot of Chase Utleys running around. I was 26. Hey, Tony, I don't know if this will entice you. Next year, it's not pinstripes. Next year, it's powder blues. The powder blue uniforms are being given out next year. That alone may have me going back.
Now, Sean, are you a big athlete? I mean, you seem athletic. I mean, you're down in the South. I mean, you're from New York, though, right, Sean?
Yeah, I'm from New York, so I don't really jive too well with Philly sports, right? I jive about as well as a chicken does with Chick-fil-A when it comes to Philly sports. But I do like to go for a run. I used to play a little baseball a few years ago. It was a lot of fun. Outfield, if you hit a ball in my zip code, I was going to get to it. And I throw a pretty nasty knuckleball. So that's about it.
All these major league teams have these fantasy camps where they bring, people come down, they pay for a week, and then they hang out with the athletes, and then they, and it's a fun thing to do. If you do it once, it should be on everybody's bucket list if you can still.
I know
run.
a bunch of people who did that with the Mets. I know a bunch of people who did that with the Mets, and I'm a Texas Rangers fan. That's a long story. But it's interesting being an out-of-market sports fan. But 2023 was fun for us, so hopefully we get to experience. That's the only team that's ever won a championship that I root for, because I'm also a Jets fan. So it was one of the best sports moments ever. Yeah, it's brutal.
By the way, I hear the Jets. Sean, I hear the Jets have called Rich Kotite to give him a second chance. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Guy.
No, I was saying that we share with Sean. We shared Cole Hamels with the Texas Rangers for a while.
Yes, we did. We did share Cole. He was fun. He was good here, and I would say I think the Rangers probably did the best out of that trade. Right? I mean, there was a couple of players that made their way over to Philly. I forget. One of them was he was one of the pitchers. What was his name? Asher? Was that his name? No, I don't remember. One of the pitchers. He was in the Phillies rotation for a while. Yeah.
All I know is we lost Cole Hamels right after he pitched a no-hitter, but I was.
He helped us get into the playoffs that year.
Yeah,
no, everybody loves Cole Hamels.
And a nice guy sat and talked to me for 20 minutes as I was one of many people waiting to talk to him, and told him that I made the case with your good friend Dom Giordano, who disagreed with me. I made the case why Cole should be in the Hall of Fame, and wanted to let Cole I had done that. I'm sure Cole will never forget that conversation.
By the way, speaking of Hall of Fame, everybody was talking about Belichick. How about Eli Manning with 2 Super Bowls did not make the Hall of Fame in his first crack at it? I mean, so that's the problem with baseball writers and football writers and all these self-important morons carrying around pads. They play God and determine. Now, I know in the football one, there's so many people who vote. I also saw the people that didn't vote for Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick will get in, but it's the same thing with remember the Hall of Fame? You can't allow a guy to go in as a first ballot guy, no matter what his numbers are. And then they finally cracked that and put a player in the first ballot. So you're either a Hall of Famer or you're not. Your stats don't improve once you're retired. If you have to wait 5, 6, 7, 8 years, your stats don't go up or down. That's why these clowns should not be allowed to vote on anything, including elections in blue cities, because they destroy every city in America.
Well, listen, I'll say this as a Jet fan. Belichick, absolutely first ballot Hall of Famer. Eli, I'll say, okay, he won the 2 Super Bowls, but he also, in those years where he wasn't making deep runs into the playoffs, wasn't that great. So I would say first ballot, maybe not, but stop with the holdouts. Enough is enough.
It is. I mean, the thing about the NFL that they used to do.
Yeah, it's the politics of it. I mean, that's unfortunately, it appears as though there's politics. Look, there's politics in everything, but I hate when it creeps into sports. So sports should be sport, especially with their stats and data. I mean, look, but we were saying earlier, right? There should be stats and data in elections too. I mean, Josh Shapiro is going to run for president, and if he had a baseball card, it would be blank. It would just list all the cities he had played in with no stats.
It would be an error card on the back. It would just say error on the back. It wouldn't have his stats because he doesn't have any stats.
He'd have just the pictures of all the different uniforms from the different offices he held. And just came out of the dugout and tipped his cap to the crowd, and everybody said thanks. And the New York
So you're telling me he's kind of like you're telling me Josh Shapiro is kind of like the equivalent of NFL quarterback Josh Johnson. He's played for a lot of teams, but he's done really nothing.
He won a couple of games.
And Josh Johnson went out and took some hits. he got in the arena. Johnson went out there and took some hits. Yeah, but I mean that's sort of unimpressive. And look, it's not for a lack of talent, right? I mean, Tony's saying it too. I mean, the guys managed to do it. It's just, I've said it. I'll say it again this weekend when I'm on, Inside Story. I just ask people to tell me honestly, take politics and ideology out of it. Make the case for Josh Shapiro to be reelected. Make the case for it. He's a nice guy. He's a talented guy. He goes to Eagles games. He shoots hoops with kids. Okay, those are all nice things. I'm sure he loves his wife and loves his kids. But, I mean, what's the signature issue? What has he done to help senior citizens? What has he done to improve education? What does he do? When he wasn't governor, he used to fight with Larry Krasner and said he was going to hold Larry Krasner accountable. Now he's the governor of Pennsylvania. Larry Krasner's holding press conferences in the middle of snowstorms, yelling about ice. I mean, where is it? So that's the question that, I ask as he goes on this book tour, and it's the question I'm going to ask from now until Election Day. Make the case for me. Tell me the 3 things he did. Heck, tell me the one thing he did to improve the quality of life, to improve the economy, to help seniors, to help veterans, to help kids, to make cities safer. You can't because he hasn't, because it's all been one giant audition for the next job, which he's now doing openly.
Well, we can go on forever, but I got to go to a break. The great Guy Shirocky, not related to Pat Shirocky, or, of course, the gentleman who owns all the Chickies and Pete's. You know that Shirocky, too. Don't you live near him in Ocean City or something?
Well, I did it in South Philly. as you know, Tony, he's down in Packer Park. I used to pick up the Evening Bulletin at the store across the street every day. Pick up the bulletin. As I taught my kids, you can appreciate, you push the grocery cart with your waist as you trifold the paper on the way to your route. We used to do that when you could pass under the highway there. Now they sealed all those off. You used to be able to walk under the highway and do that.
Exactly.
So no.
Well, Guy, you're the perfect guy to appear here.
Money.
You're a perfect guy on National Curmudgeon Day because I'm a curmudgeon. You're a curmudgeon. Wouldn't you like to be a curmudgeon too? I don't think.
I think I'm a curmudgeon in training, Tony. I think I'm a curmudgeon in training. I'm just not. I haven't reached the. It's like Social Security, where I haven't reached the minimum age to be a curmudgeon yet. No offense to the curmudgeon community. I do love me some curmudgeons, as we mentioned George Carlin, but I'm not old enough to consider myself a curmudgeon yet, I would say.
I always said if I had a podcast, I would call it "Get Off My Lawn." And that's what I think National Curmudgeon Day. That would be my podcast. Get off my lawn.
Nobody in South Philly has a lawn. Come on, man. That wouldn't appeal to those people. You just say, "Get off my block."
Get off my stoop. Get off my stoop.
Guy, always great to talk to you, man. Thanks for popping on today.
All right. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Sean. Have a good afternoon.
The great Guy Sherrod.
Thank you, Guy.
Always love talking to him, man.
Oh, he's awesome.
Good stuff.
He's great. That was funny. I didn't realize he's a sports fan. That's awesome. Yeah, he's great. He's a great dude. And that was a fun conversation.
South Philly, you go up in certain neighborhoods. You go out in the street and you play sports in the afternoon. Now, before you went inside and just were on a computer all day and playing stupid, violent video games and frying your brains. We used to go outside, play half ball. Play all kinds of silly games where we would go home when it started getting dark. And our moms would be yelling out, "Hey, Tony, time to come and eat." She would say it with an Italian accent, though. Those were the fun days. And I'm not trying to make everybody think that, my generation is better. But now kids don't go out and play because they're afraid to go out and play because it's too dangerous outside.
Yeah, you got a bunch of illegal aliens roaming around your neighborhoods. Matter of fact, I've got an article. I'd love to read some names off the next segment of some of the people that the left would rather keep in your communities, right? Than have ICE go after and get them. You're gonna love this. There's a lot of some real violent criminals that we're gonna name and talk about. Just some of the ones that were scooped up in Minneapolis. So we'll do that. We'll do that next segment as we continue on. A lot more to talk about. Sean Farish and Tony Bruno rocking out here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT till 6 o'clock. The Rich Zioli Show. We'll be back with more right after this.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. The big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
One of the big hurdles in AI is for chatbots to understand human speech and all of its intricacies. Modulate has launched its ensemble listening model, which is designed to understand conversations rather than generate speech, using hundreds of audio specialists to read behavior, emotion, intent, and timing directly from a raw voice in real time, rather than most AI voice models focusing on speech cloning. I'm Jason Brooks.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, NewNordicUSA.com, or your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Now back to the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Oh, I got to get the sticks out for this. Mississippi Queen. He's not a Mississippi Queen, but he's adjacent to Mississippi. Sean Farish, Tony Bruno. I'm in Florida, where it's still chilly out there. We got up to 72 today, but it was in the 30s.
72. Give me a break when you're 72 and that's chilly. Give me a break. It's 40. Give me a break with that.
I'm not saying 72 is chilly. I'm saying we've had a cold spell at night where it gets into the 30s here. I had to bring in my delicate
sage, the 30s. Listen to this guy saying the 30s is cold. Listen to him saying the 30s. You're PA guy. It's already wearing off. We've been down to single digits the last couple of days, Tony. It's insane. Absolutely.
I'm not teasing people. I'm not teasing people. Listen, I live here because I like warm weather. You don't have to shovel snow down here. I shovel sunshine or sand on the beach when I'm playing with my grandkids. I want a bucket. The only thing I want to do is sandcastles on the beach at the Sanibel or Captiva Island on the Gulf of America. And you know the Gulf of America. I believe you, as President Trump, were the person that decided to name the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Am I right?
Well, we did a tremendous job with the Gulf of America. We also made a tremendous deal, Tony, with Mother Nature. Think about it. She wanted to send hurricanes into our country. And she said, we're going to aim for Tony Bruno's house. Then I said, we're not going to do that. We're going to hit you with so many tariffs. If you send a hurricane into the Gulf of America, we're going to hit you with tariffs. And Mother Nature said to me, sir, we're not going to do it. So we saved the entire Gulf Coast. Think about it. And we saved Tony Bruno's house.
And there's no doubt this year, in your first year back as president of the United States, you kept Florida tornado free. That's not an accident. When you said to the tornado guys and the sky gods, the weather gods in the sky,
Mother Nature. No, it was Mother Nature. I got along very well with her. Got along well with her.
You didn't even have to fool Mother Nature. All you had to do was ask her, Mother Nature, please do not give Florida a hurricane, and we went hurricane-free for the first time in decades. Thank you, Mr. President.
Long time. It was long. We did a tremendous job, and she did a tremendous job. That's the power of tariffs, right? That's the power of tariffs. We said, if you send a hurricane into the country, she said, sir, it's an El Nino year. It's a La Nina year. There's a lot of, I said, we're not going to do it. We deported El Nino and La Nina, believe it or not. We got rid of them.
I mean, they were here. They were criminals, and they had a record. And they, they weren't part of DACA. And you know what DACA is, right? Isn't that some cream you put on late at night?
No, I don't know if that's what that is. I maybe getting that confused with Icy Hot. I'm not sure. But what is that? The Dreamers? I can't take that. I can't take DACA. But yes, El Nino and La Nina, according to the president, were deported.
Hey,
you know, it's funny when I put that video up.
Year,
oh, you got to be careful.
No,
you got to be careful.
I lived in LA. A lot of hot Latinas. I was single and ready to mingle back then. A lot of La Ninas running around in LA. Santa Monica.
A lot of La Ninas. A lot of La Ninas.
Lie, Poppy. When I hear that. All right, we got a lot of stuff to talk about now. We have. Did you see Bill de Blasio's son, Dante, was jailed last night? Yes,
I did not see this. I did not see this.
Bill de Blasio's son, Dante, was jailed in a big
Dante
protest
de Blasio, huh?
Dante de Blasio.
Okay.
By the way, obviously, his wife, de Blasio's wife is African-American, and he's a white dude. Nothing wrong with that. But his son, obviously, is mixed race. And de Blasio, after his son gets bailed out, goes on and says, I'm proud to say he's my son. And I'm proud to agree with him, abolish ICE. Remember they had that big abolish ICE restaurant protest inside a Hilton hotel? And they were talking about, they were screaming, hang Kristi Noem and all those other fun things.
Yeah, so remember, if you scream hang Mike Pence on January 6th, that's bad. If you scream hang Kristi Noem, that's your patriotic duty. I just love the double standard. It's great.
His son gets arrested in the protest, but luckily, Bill de Blasio's wife bailed him out with $1 million that she stole that was supposed to go to poor people in New York. So at least he had bail fund from his corrupt mother to bail his ass out. How great
That's
is
great.
that,
And these people protesting ICE, right? So just think about this for a minute. Wherever they're protesting ICE, right? Whether it's in Minneapolis, whether it's in New York City, where you have New York City ICE Watch, who is coming out and saying we want multiple fronts across the United States. Multiple fronts. I'm told there's no coordination, but now they're talking about putting multiple fronts up. These are groups and these are people that are arguing for ICE to cease to exist, right? Abolish ICE. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This is the law enforcement agency, right, that is tasked with enforcing federal immigration law. Nobody can do it better. Nobody has that authority specifically designated to them. And so they're going through these communities and they're pulling out people who are just, we're not talking about, and maybe you get a couple mixed in, right, who have been in the country for a while. They never committed a violent crime. To me, by the way, don't care if you're here illegally, you should be removed from the country. But take those out of the equation just for a second. I'm going to give you a list of 5 names real quick in Minneapolis, okay? Ismael Alvarez Guerra of Mexico. Ready? Israel Alvarez Guerra of Mexico, convicted of oral copulation with a minor under 10 years old in Los Angeles. Johans Cuadros Almanza of Peru, convicted of aggravated criminal sexual conduct in Essex County, New Jersey. David Canales Palma of Honduras, convicted of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor in New Hanover County, North Carolina. Franz Joseph of Haiti, convicted of assault with intent to commit sexual abuse in Alamaki County, Iowa. And Carlos Cuenca Vera of Ecuador, convicted of criminal sexual acts in White Plains, New York. These are 5. That's just 5, right? But these are all convictions, not accusations, not arrests. Convictions of violent sex crimes. And if the left had their way in any of these sanctuary cities, Tony, those people would be in your community.
You're right, and that's the thing. And Tom Homan got a medal, and Tom Homan's been involved in 5 different administrations, so he's not a partisan guy. You know, he's been there multiple, and didn't Barack Obama put a medal around his neck? And by the way, Trump didn't invent ICE.
Barack Obama gave him a medal. Yes.
Yeah, and Trump did not start ICE. Trump is using ICE because Joe Biden allowed millions of people to walk over the border. And the guys who should be in jail, Mayorkas, that guy should be in jail for dereliction of duty. What he did, and then kept claiming that the border was secure. And then the other excuse from Kamala Harris was, well, we need more money now to get more. Did Trump get more money to close the border? Did he have to enact new laws? No, he utilized the laws on the books, saying that if you cross the border illegally, you're breaking a law. You can do it the right way or the wrong way. And so many people from all over the world, no names, no inoculations, who knows what diseases they brought into the country, right? But nobody seems to care about that right now.
Nobody seems to care about it. And this is the problem, right? And so there's the old, James Carville, remember, it's the economy, stupid. They say that's the best way to win elections, and that's the best pitch that you can make. And it's a great pitch. But I like to think that they there's a new way to make that pitch now. It is the economy. By all means, celebrate the accomplishments. But they think they're projecting 5.4% GDP growth, which is incredible. Everyone said tariffs were going to end the world, and clearly they didn't. But I like to say it's your community, stupid, too. Do you want the 5 names that I just listed? If you live in Minneapolis or you live anywhere, these weren't just in Minneapolis. We said New Jersey, North Carolina, California, Iowa, New York. There were a bunch of them. Do you want those people? You have a son, a daughter riding their bike. You said kids don't go out and play anymore, right? But let's say they do, or maybe some of them do. You have these kids that are riding around your neighborhood. Do you want these people around your children, potentially thinking about preying on your kid, and your child now becomes the next Jocelyn Nungare or Laken Riley or Travis Wolf or some of these children who've been killed by illegal aliens? Of course not. It's your community, stupid. That's what I say. So yeah, it's the economy, stupid, yes, but it's your community, stupid, too. I don't know anybody, Tony, who wants to live, who looks at an unsafe community. I don't know anybody, I live in Tennessee, who looks at Memphis, one of the most dangerous places in the country, and says, I want to live there because it's extremely dangerous. Nobody thinks that way. So common sense, independence, fence riders, middle of the road, right? Undecided voters. There has to be a point where they hear these heinous criminals, these people committing these violent crimes, and going, why the heck does the left want to keep these people in my community? I don't see that as a winning message.
I agree, but the problem is everything now is based on politics. Every decision made, and then the people who don't follow politics, and we have to because we do talk shows and have to talk about it.
Right.
But I don't want to talk politics 24/7. See, we're talking a little baseball, Guy Shiraki, and we're talking about the governor's race in Pennsylvania, which is important. People should go out and vote. I don't tell people who to vote for. I don't tell people what to think, what to like, what to dislike. I just give my opinions. But I try to use common sense. And I know you do too. That's all we want. We don't want everything based on what political bent we agree with. Now, some of them are obviously, there are some lunatics out there. And we're seeing them on TikTok and we're seeing them on the streets. These people are insane. And the women, the liberal women, the old ones with the purple and gray hair and the big rings. I don't know what's gotten into them. I don't understand it.
I don't know. I think they're drunk on HOA power, Tony. I think they love their HOAs. They love their power. They love the whole, let me speak to the manager. They lean into what we like to call Karenism, right? Like that lady from Philly who stole the baseball from that kid in Tampa Bay, right? She leaned into to being like that. And that's the way, unfortunately, a lot of these people are. They walk around with the white guilt and, even Tim Walz in that clip we played in the first hour was like, old white guys tend to land on their feet. Well, not every time. I know a bunch of old white people who aren't in great situations, right? So it comes down, like you said, it's identity politics. It's that woke mind virus has infected everything. And I would love for the day to come where sports is sports again. And, you can have some political, undertones in music, but sports is sports and Hollywood is Hollywood. And, then there's going to be people like us who talk about it and we give our opinions and we base it in common sense because I think that's the best way to make the argument. But it has infected and infested everything. And I would love for that to not be the case soon.
Exactly. Well, Robin had a great idea the other day. And I've been saying this for years. If we just had people who ran for office and there was no R or D or libertarian attached to it, and they talked to us and we didn't know what party they belonged to, and we voted based on just what they said, that would make it a lot easier. We should get rid of the party system. Right?
I think so. That would be great, but there's too much money at stake. There's too much money at stake to do that. That's the problem. I'm not arguing in favor of the party system, but that is the problem. But you're 100% right. We're going to come back and we're going to wrap up hour 2 here on this afternoon show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. It's Sean Farish and Tony Bruno hanging with you until 6 o'clock. The Rich Zioli Show coming on then is a brand new 1-hour podcast now. So keep it locked right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We'll be right back after this.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. The big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Attention PA New Jersey home sellers. If you're over 60 and you've been thinking about selling in 2026, do not start too late, as sellers are losing thousands before the sign even goes up. They fix the wrong things, they guess at price, and they get blindsided at inspections. So learn the 10 new rules of selling over 60 at my free breakfast seminar, 9 a.m. January 31st at the Hilton Garden Inn, Fort Washington. Join me, Diane Cordano-Casaccio, Cordano Realtors, and special guest Dom Giordano. Come live or on Zoom. Should you downsize now or stay put? What are your capital gains? How to declutter 30 years of your stuff? What do you fix or not fix? Should you sell as is? And how to price and market your home to sell fast. All attendees get a free copy of my newest book, The Hidden Cost of Overpricing. Diane Cordano says RSVP now at 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. and get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
This is the energy of the Acura RDX. The energy of performance and adventure. With super handling all-wheel drive. The Acura RDX. This is the energy of innovation. Acura. Precision crafted performance.
Visit Piazza Acura of Ardmore, Reading, or Westchester for a test drive today.
Welcome to Radio Rental. The scariest stories you've ever heard in your life. All told by real people. And off we go.
This wasn't a human being that I saw. There's something here in this house, something not of this world.
There was a woman moving through the hall. I stepped back and I was completely alone.
Radio Rental is available now. Listen for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Boy, that Justin Otero loves him some good drum solos, man. I got good thing I have the stick, Sean Farris. You have drumsticks in your studio?
I don't. I have a ton of props. I have the Kamala Harris word salad fork, the extendo fork right here. I have the Marjorie Taylor Greene Kevin McCarthy hedgehog, because she was honking his hedgehog when he was the speaker, right?
Yeah.
I've got my gavel. Okay, I've got my John Fetterman bang gavel. Yeah, I got Nancy Pelosi's teeth, Tony Bruno. Look at this.
You do? Where are they?
There they are. Okay. So
Yeah,
we got
do you have any
Pelosi's
of her
teeth.
leftover vodka? That's what I want to know.
I got a lightsaber. Okay.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, a little Darth Vader. And where it says my Joy Reid safety glasses are around here. These are my Eclipse glasses 2024. You have to put these on when Joy Reid comes on the screen because these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA, Tony Bruno, but prolonged exposure to Joy Reid to the naked eye can cause explosive diarrhea, projectile vomiting, suicidal thoughts, itching and burning of the skin or face, and other unknown side effects at this time. So there you go. I've got props.
I love those ads because I'm on Tremfya, and you see their ads, and at the end, those are evaluated because they're obviously legal drugs that were prescribed because I have ulcerative colitis. But at the bottom, it lists. But there's one particular drug, and I don't remember what it is. It lists everything, and then in the middle of it, it says death when it runs the potential side effects. Shouldn't death be the last thing that they mention? They mentioned death in the middle of a full stream of all the possible
because they don't want you to hear it.
Side effects. Yeah. How would you?
They don't want you to hear it.
So what's worse than death? Sore feet, hemorrhoids.
Yeah,
vomiting?
no, I'd say death is pretty bad.
Yeah,
I'd say death is pretty
probably
bad.
the worst side effect.
It's
of a
like
drug.
it's like these antidepressants where they're like, it may result in suicidal thoughts, and I was like, isn't that like the point of the antidepressant? yeah. But I do have a bunch. I should get some drumsticks.
Yeah. I used to have a lot of them because I needed drums. Robin sold my drum kit. She sold a drum kit, and it was
I think that was probably a good idea. It's probably a lot quieter in your house now. Yeah.
No, that's grounds for divorce. Even though we just got married a couple of weeks ago, no woman or man should ever sell their partner's valuable stuff. And that drum kit was my life.
Right.
Drumming is my life.
I also got, Tony, I also have my my Donald Trump King of the Universe crown. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I have one of those too. Where's my crown, Robin?
And finally,
Robin's got my
I forgot
crown
about
over there.
this. You'll like this. If you're watching over on youtube.com/1210 WPHT, there you go. It's a nice little, it's almost like a tiara, though. It's kind of fruity, Tony.
No, that's a real crown.
fruity.
Look at all the diamonds in it. I look like an NFL player with those multiple chains with
With those
72,000 diamonds
chains.
in it.
Well, I've also got this here. I got my beautiful Trump head on a stick. You see it, so we can just do whatever we want to do, and everybody knows about it. Yeah,
I got this as
We
King
have
of
to
Radio
have
Row at
fun.
the Super Bowl. I went to like 45
Nice.
Super Bowls in a row. And then Jim Rome proclaimed me the King of Radio Row. So somebody presented me with this crown, and I wore it proudly. But I'm not going.
One
to
of
the
my
Super
favorite
Bowl
Jim
this
Rowe
year.
moments is when he got tossed out of the chair. Remember that? What was that?
Oh,
Carl
yeah, that was
Everett?
Jim,
Was that who did that?
No, it was Jim. It was Everett was the quarterback, but he kept calling him. No, I remember it was when he was on ESPN2. I was at ESPN at the time too. He was doing ESPN2. I was doing, but he had his own show on ESPN, which was on ESPN2.
He kept calling him a name or something, and he just got tossed out of his chair. It was wild.
Yeah, the guy's last name, but he kept calling him the other one. And now I can't remember it.
Yeah.
Jim
I don't
Everett. That's
remember,
right.
but it was.
He
It was.
kept calling
He
him.
kept calling him Chris.
He kept calling him Chris Everett, Jim Everett, because Jim Everett was struggling a lot. So Jim would taunt him. It's like, oh, Chris Everett. And then Jim Everett got upset because Jim Everett was a quarterback for the Rams, right? And because Rome and his Romy guys, and his fans would call him Chris Everett because he never won games. Or, you know what I mean? He didn't live up to the hype when he came out of college. So he called him Chris Everett. And then finally Jim Everett said, call me Chris Everett one more time. And that's when Jim did, and he went after him. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Say my name once. Say that one more time, right? Haven't we seen that in a lot of bits? Go ahead and say that one more time.
And he did.
Not
And
me.
that was a back in the day. That was a back in the day lesson of FA, FO, and Jim Rome FA'd, and he found out. He definitely found out. We got to jump to a break here.
Yeah, I'm going to remind people, I have a big breaking local Philadelphia story of an arrest that has been made in a local story about assault on a SEPTA bus. Stick around for that. Much more. It's the big final hour. It's flying by, isn't it?
That's right. That's right.
Talk
Final
Radio
hour
1210.
coming up. We'll get to that story at the top of the hour. Farish and Bruno right here on 1210 WPHT. We're back after this.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Lenseek.
One of the big hurdles in AI is for chatbots to understand human speech and all of its intricacies. Modulate has launched its ensemble listening model, which is designed to understand conversations rather than generate speech, using hundreds of audio specialists to read behavior, emotion, intent, and timing directly from a raw voice in real time, rather than most AI voice models focusing on speech cloning. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/now. That's ethos.com/now.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Announcing that gold has surpassed $5,000 an ounce, and silver is at an all-time high as well. If you need cash to help pay those bills, then you must go to the Estates Roadshow. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, and even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold and silver are hot. 3 locations this week: Chestnut Hill, Bensalem, and Doylestown. Bring your gold, silver, coins, diamonds, and watches, even broken pieces, and get cash on the spot. The prices of gold and silver are at an all-time high, so there's never been a better time to sell. No appointments, no fees, no pressure, just friendly professional buyers with over 35 years in the business. Go to the Estates Roadshow, Monday through Friday in Chestnut Hill at the Chestnut Hill Hotel, in Bensalem at the Courtyard by Marriott, and in Doylestown at the Doylestown Inn. Get some cash in your hands today to help pay those bills at the Estates Roadshow. For more info, visit estatesroadshow.com and follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook for all upcoming events.
Philadelphia homeowners, your home is one of your biggest investments. Closet Factory helps you protect it by adding custom storage solutions designed to last. From closets and home offices to garages and pantries, Closet Factory creates American-made, custom-built organization that increases function, beauty, and long-term value. Call 215-461-4013 today or visit closetfactory.com. Closet Factory, smart storage built the right way. Have you been thinking about doing a Roth conversion, but the upfront taxes are holding you back? Welcome to Rothright. We can show you how to significantly reduce taxes on a conversion, potentially saving hundreds of thousands, even millions in taxes over your lifetime. A Roth conversion will give you tax-free income, eliminate required minimum distributions, and leave a tax-free estate for your heirs. Call 855-415-ROTH. That's 855-415-ROTH. Or visit Rothright.com. Accredited investors only. Rothright is not a financial advisory firm. Consult with a tax professional before making any financial decision.
Hi, this is Larry Steinhaus, and I want to let you know that I buy houses. I buy houses from people that may be a tired landlord, maybe somebody who's having trouble selling their house, or maybe someone who needs to sell their house quickly. Well, all you need to do is call 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I promise to answer the phone and help you with your situation. That's right, your house may be cluttered. It may be a house that a relative left you, or it may just be a house you just want to get rid of. 855-939-1137.
The Southeast and Mid-Atlantic. North Carolina's Governor Josh Stein is declaring a state of emergency. Officials in Fulton County, Georgia, provide an update following the FBI seizure of 2020 election ballots. WSB's Jonathan O'Brien.
Officials say 700 boxes were taken from the county's election warehouse during the FBI's raid, and Fulton County Commission Chairman Rob Pitts believes they are being targeted.
These ongoing efforts are about intimidation and distraction, not facts.
He says they have nothing to hide and they will uphold the law.
This is by no means over.
When asked, Pitts would not give specifics on their legal strategy moving forward. Jonathan O'Brien for CBS News, Atlanta.
Apple reports a $42 billion quarterly profit as China sales surge. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to CBS Mornings on the go on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Humans cannot survive without lungs, but doctors at Northwestern University kept one patient alive without them for 2 days.
The 33-year-old man had developed such bad pneumonia that
the lung was no longer working anymore.
Thoracic surgeon Dr. Calvin Lung says they couldn't wait for a transplant.
It would have been great if there were just organs available, but because there wasn't, we had to remove the source of why this patient was getting so sick.
And they created basically artificial plumbing to keep him alive.
That still allowed the flow of blood to continue and have the oxygen be delivered into the body without two lungs.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The Kennedy Center's head of artistic programming has stepped down 2 weeks after being named to the position. Kevin Couch confirms his departure without giving a reason. The Kennedy Center has not commented on the situation. Couch's exit comes during a wave of artist cancellations at the Washington Performing Arts venue after changes by President Trump. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3. Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Yeah. It is 5:05. I love the 5 o'clock hour. It's not happy hour. I'm reading now, Sean Farish, that happy hour is dying. I remember when it died, when there was all these, remember the Mothers Against Drunk Driving and people were getting wasted after work. And then everybody stopped having happy hours because they didn't want to deal with the, with people getting in accidents and dying just because they had a drink after work. Now, apparently, people aren't doing happy. I thought happy hours are still everywhere. Here in Florida, every bar has a happy hour, right?
I think you're always happy in Florida, though, right? You never, no one's in a bad mood in that state.
You're right. You know what puts me in a bad mood here is that scumbag Alex Vindman. You see him? Remember those two, the crumb bum entire family. The guy was a treasonous guy, and now he's bragging about he's raising money to run for the Senate seat held by Ashley Moody, who of course is now, is now
she was appointed right by DeSantis. Yeah,
correct. Because the Pam Bondi was the attorney general. Ashley Moody took her place as the attorney general in Florida, and then was put in the Senate seat because it was that Republican seat from Florida. Now all of a sudden they're trying to bring Vindman down here with his brother. Those thugs.
Does he live in Florida?
No, and I don't know how you do that.
So he's a carpetbagger. That's not going to fly. That ain't going to fly down there.
And he's bragging about all the money he's been getting, and it's all coming from outside of the state. Nobody in Florida wants these clowns down here. You are not going to come to my state and bring scumbags like the Vindmans. All these other far left people now are moving down here and then starting to run for office. You're not going to turn Florida into a blue state or a blue city. We have blue cities here. They're the ones that are failing, like Tallahassee, where the mayor was just arrested for something. These people are nuts.
That's crazy. My wife's from Tallahassee. She grew up in Tallahassee. She lived there for a while, and it was there's a lot of colleges in that town. So you have that to overcome. It's a bit of an urban city center there, right? But Tennessee's got it too, right? So Nashville is a blue city. Memphis is a blue city, but for right now, that's pretty much it. I mean, there are some purple areas here, but like you said, you do not just get to. So like the Vindmans, the fact that he's even trying to do this, it's a slap in the face to how the system is supposed to work. You're a carpetbagger at that point. You're going somewhere. You're raising money. This is all a grift. He knows he's not going to win. He's not going to defeat Ashley Moody.
Well, what's going on? He's going on Lawrence O'Donnell, that show that nobody watches anymore. So he's getting pimped up by all the far left people. The same guy, Lawrence O'Donnell, who said what a great job Mamdani did with his first snowstorm before 10 people froze to death on the streets of New York. Because these guys, and I get there's political shows. He is so far left, he's about to fall off Hawaii. That's how far left Lawrence is. What an absolute
Lawrence O'Donnell is a joke. Lawrence O'Donnell is a complete and total joke, and this is the problem with, I think, the far left in terms of just how far they've gone. I mean, do you remember back in 2016, Trump wins the election, 2017 he's sworn in, and then obviously the 2018 midterms you had, and the number one talking point platform item, it was TDS in its kind of early stages, was Rashida Tlaib ran on it, Ilhan Omar ran on it, impeach Donald Trump, right? I'm going to impeach him, we're going to impeach him, we're going to remove him, vote for me, we're going to get him out of office, we're going to end his term, we're going to get to the bottom of Russia. Remember that? It was impeach. Well, they've gone so much further to the left now. I do want to get to this clip, cut 26, from this candidate running in Ohio. Tony, I'm sure you've seen this. This was all over the internet yesterday and the day before. This Elliot Forhan, he's running for attorney general in the state of Ohio. This is cut 26. Now this is the new quote unquote impeach Donald Trump, although it's far more morbid. Let's roll cut 26.
Yeah.
Hi, This is Elliot Forehand, candidate for Ohio Attorney General. I want to tell you what I mean when I say,
and I'm not wearing the same shirt as him, by the way,
I'm going to kill Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to obtain a conviction rendered by a jury of his peers at a standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, based on evidence presented at a trial conducted in accordance with the requirements of due process, resulting in a sentence duly executed of capital punishment. That is what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump.
So how do you like that, Tony? That's the new talking point.
Yeah, but the whole hook is I'm going to kill Donald Trump. But that's what he's saying. That's what all the sedition guys, all these guys who have been threatened to have their pensions pulled because they're telling the military not to ignore Donald Trump's orders, who is the commander-in-chief, by the way. Mark Kelly and all these other frauds. They're all seditionists. But they have the left is pushing them, saying, yeah, that's right. Don't listen to Donald Trump. Don't listen to Donald Trump. He's the commander-in-chief. So these people are morons. They'll do anything to try to take over in power. And I know both parties have dirtbags trying to do stupid things to get in office. Yeah. Calling for Donald Trump's death, and you have these idiot and the seditious six people, absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that they can get away with this. But, if somebody, the Krasensteins, who are neighbors here, and I know where they live, they are the scum of the earth. Because these guys are actual criminals. They're criminals. These guys have sold kiddie porn on the internet. They've swindled money from people. And these are two little munchkins. But they sound like they haven't, their balls haven't even dropped yet. Have you heard these?
That's what they sound like, yeah. Yeah.
Krasenstein brothers. But what they do is they make money relying on people to get upset. All they do is threaten Trump, and then they'll say, well, I didn't mean that literally. But in the meantime, all of their followers go in and say, yeah, and then they make money off of that. So they're grifters, and people are stupid to keep liking or even engaging with them. He was on a podcast the other night. This guy, liberal tier creator, contacted me in a DM and said, hey, I had the Krasenstein brothers on. I'd love to have you come on the show. I said, yeah, the next time, because I want to deal with those dwarfs, because I have a plan for those guys. They need to have a raid. I know they're behind closed doors. I know exactly where they live. I'm not threatening their family. I want them exposed because the more we expose these kinds of cretins and scam, they're scam artists, documented.
They're scammers,
criminals.
And you're right about the grifting thing, right? Or there was a movement on X that was going around a couple months ago called "Starve the Grift," and basically say, don't comment on their stuff. You're going to say anything, take a screenshot. Don't. I stopped engaging. They used to be my virtual punching bags. I used to just unload on them, but then I realized, I'm a verified account with X Premium and all that. They make money every time I comment on their posts, so I'm not going to do that anymore because I don't want my actions to benefit them. That's what they want. They're rage baiters. People say they're engagement farmers. No, they're enragement farmers. They will get you mad, so you say something. And it's like, all right, well, I'm going to say something, but I'm not going to say something on this app. We're just gonna render I don't care. And I switched off of their pages and took them off of some of my timelines and things. But this is what they are, like a paper tiger, right? They're just saying things to make money on the internet. But this Ohio Attorney General candidate is for real. Okay. Look at what was this? Jay Jones in Virginia fantasizing about his political opponents being killed. So now, so on one hand I just want to keep up with what the left is doing. I like to see, what are the rules now? Where are they now? I have to keep up. So Donald Trump's a dictator, right? There was a rumor, right, for a while that he was going to use SEAL Team 6 to go after his political opponents and assassinate them. That was a hoax that was floated out there early in this second term. You have a candidate running for office, statewide office, to be the top law enforcement official in the state of Ohio, making it a part of his campaign to kill the president of the United States via capital punishment, which, by the way, the left is supposed to be against the death penalty, but not if it's Donald Trump. I can't keep up with this. I mean, you've done this for a long time, radio and talk and commentary. I am 34 years old, and I watch these things, and I'm like, how this is, and it's getting more difficult because everyone has a camera and a phone. Everyone's got a microphone now, and fine, use your voice, be a part of the process. I have no problem with that. But it is exhausting to see the left continue to make excuses for behavior that if Donald Trump said it, if Donald Trump, Tony Bruno, Donald Trump came out and said, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go after Gavin Newsom. We're going to find him guilty of crimes with the capital punishment. They're going to say he wants to kill him. This is exactly what the Ohio candidate's doing. And they're like, this is a great idea. Oh, what? Well, that not in this country. I don't want to live in a country like that. It drives me crazy.
And you're right. The biggest, and I know there's a lot of right-wing people in there, but they're not trying to goad people. You know who the people are. You know, it's that Brooklyn dad defiant. It's that JoJo from Jersey and all these other dirtbags whose only job it is to gin up hatred toward Trump because they know there's a lot of morons who also hate Trump who will go on there and make them richer because that's what they live. They have no jobs. They have no lives. And so if you can make money doing it, fine. But if you get sucked in and reply to these people, you're just helping them become enriched. And the Krasenstein brothers are munchkins. These guys sound like 10-year-old kids who don't have pubic hair yet. 10-year-old
And they suck
boys.
the air out of the balloon, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Chipmunks, you know, kind of.
And I always DM them and say, "You guys want problems? I'll give you some problems, punks. I know where you live." Now, I'm not doxing them, but I just want them to know that one day, just like I think in Philadelphia with the corrupt DA Larry Krasner, you know what I would do if I lived there? I would go to his house every night with people. I wouldn't damage anything. I'd get a blowhorn. I'd get big lights.
Funny you mention that.
I'd get loud. What's that?
I said it's funny you mentioned that. I'll have a story about that. Keep going because I actually did this a couple times.
Go to his house. I don't want them to hurt him or his wife or whatever he has in there. I want people to just like what's her name did. Remember the chick in California, that old hag that's been around forever with the bad wigs?
Nancy Pelosi.
I want you to get in their faces when they're in the restaurants.
Oh, Maxine Waters. Yes.
Yeah, Annie Maxie. I want you to get into their face. When they go to a restaurant, I want you to make them uncomfortable. I want you to tell them, you're not welcome here. That's what I want people in Philadelphia to do. The 5 people who still don't vote for Democrats, regardless of who they are. I want Larry Krasner's life to be made miserable 24/7.
Well, we got to go back to the days of tarring and feathering the tax collector, right? I mean, that was what over much less taxes. But it's funny you mentioned, you know, getting a bullhorn and going in front of these people's homes. I'm not like I don't always love when that happens on either side, but I will say this, and one of the reasons why I don't like what happens is if they have kids, you know, I would want to avoid that.
No,
but when Andrew Cuomo,
I'm not a guy who would ever do that.
No, I got you.
I've been at protest. Like in Philly when the dumb mayor put a box over the Columbus statue. People in Philly and South Philly, a lot of Italians, we were out there protesting because the mayor put a box over and Pittsburgh, they still have a box over their Columbus statue.
That's ridiculous.
Because the nutcases are running the towns. These are the people saying, oh, they want to get rid of this memorial in Philadelphia. These are the same people who took down statues, murals, Frank Rizzo, Kate Smith, you name it, Confederate generals, and their statues all over Philadelphia and Fairmount
Well, you know what?
Park.
Black Lives Matter in New York, they took down a statue of Frederick Douglass in the name of Black Lives Matter. He's a black guy, you know, one of the leading abolitionists of his time. But when I was on Long Island and doing these protests, we went to Cuomo's house, not the governor's mansion. We went to his home, and we stood off the driveway. We were, you know, nice and we were peaceful in the street, whatever. And the neighbors thought it was hilarious because nobody liked him, but it was on his birthday, so we brought him a cake. We sang "Happy Birthday," and then we found out that Hillary Clinton lived, 15 minutes away. So we went to her house, and Tony, there's a video of me. I got to find it. I'll send it to you. On the bullhorn, and I say, Hillary, come on out. I want to talk to you, crooked Hillary. Let's go. And we had Secret Service. They were dying. It was great. And so nobody knew about this except our group. We had about 1,000 people with us in that day. It was a great day. It was cold, but we had a lot of fun. So I'm driving home, and I get a text from a friend going, what were you doing at Hillary's house? I said, how do you know we were there? He goes, well, the Gateway Pundits got it, the online, conservative media site. And I said, well, I wonder how they figured it. So I opened it up, and it was Chelsea Clinton, Hillary's daughter, made an angry post. There are Trump supporters outside my mom's house yelling at her. And I was like, this is great. Now we got all the, so I'm getting phone calls. What were you doing? I'll be careful. We don't want you to turn up dead in a park somewhere. You were at Hillary's. But I took the bullhorn. I said, Hillary, I know this voice haunts you more than the name Monica Lewinsky, Hillary. I know it haunts you a lot. You don't want to deal with it. And the Secret Service, they were turning red. They were dying because nobody likes her, But we've done the protests at the houses before, and it was a good time. That much I can say. It was a really good time. Now, with that being said, don't do this to everybody and be respectful, and don't do it if they have kids. But it was a fun time for us.
Only the people who are supposed to be law enforcement officials threatening to hunt down people. When you're a DA or a lieutenant governor or an attorney general and you openly threat to hunt down people, that makes you a fascist, Larry Krasner. You're the fascist. And you're gonna see something very, very soon, punk. You're a punk and you're a crumb creep loser. And I don't want to get profane, but there's no one in Philadelphia history that I hate more than Larry Krasner. He is no good.
He's terrible.
I promised a story of breaking news. Now, in Philly, there's another group, Surge Philadelphia, and Frank Scales is the young kid who runs it. And he goes out to protest, and he has a camera, so he captures everything. So he went to community college in Philadelphia, and now he's an independent guy. So he was on a SEPTA bus. You may remember this story. He's on a SEPTA bus with a woman that he went to community college with. The woman he went to community college with was on the same bus with him, and they got into some sort of a dispute. Now, she worked for WHYY, which is the public television station in Philly. It's one of the PBS stations, as an intern. So she had an argument with him. I don't know what happens, but she's a left-wing agitator. She was caught on a SEPTA bus pepper spraying Frank Scalius, and she has been arrested. And guess what? Charges include possession of instrument of crime with intent, simple assault, harassment, and disorderly conduct. We have the actual municipal court thing. And so now they have charged her with all these crimes because it is a crime just because you don't like a person and you went to school with him. But she now apparently she's been released awaiting trial due to Philadelphia's cashless bail system. So the docket has been attached, and I don't think she's going to go out and kill anybody. But the cashless bail thing for a thug like this just shows you that you're empowering these people to keep doing it. And I guarantee you, Larry Krasner will have one of his assistant thugs get this woman off the hook. But by the way, channel WHYY said, she doesn't work for us anymore. So they distance themselves from this nutcase because they want to be able to still ask people for donations so they can get a duffel bag for watching it. And there's a lot of good stuff on public television, except I don't need it anymore because I got 7,000 channels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Well, like I said, if you reward law breaking, you're only going to get more law breaking. If there aren't consequences, strong enough consequences to deter people from breaking the law, then they're going to break the law. Let's say, for example, Tony, if it was, at the very worst, I go rob a bank and I get fined $1,000 for bank robbery. I'd be robbing banks every day because I just robbed the bank for more than $1,000 and I'm getting my return on investment, right? This whole thing about, we were talking about amnesty for a minute. If you reward breaking the law, then what you've done here is you've incentivized breaking the law. Cashless bail is something we had to deal with when I was in New York for a long time. Andrew Cuomo was the father of that policy in New York. Yep. Now, we're going to treat these people nicely. Well, here's the problem. Now you wind up with places like Charlotte, North Carolina, where you have DeCarlos Brown Jr., who stabbed Irina Zarutska on the light rail in Charlotte. He had a rap sheet 10 miles long, and he kept getting released onto the streets where if you didn't have that policy in place, he's not on the streets to commit that heinous crime. She's still alive, right? So this cashless bail stuff, whether it's Philly, whether it's New York, whether it's Portland, whether it's these, some of these jurisdictions in California, wherever it might be, all it does is it weakens the main deterrent. The deterrent that keeps people from breaking the law. If you go out there and you bust up somebody's window or you steal somebody's car or you assault somebody on the sidewalk and you know that if you get booked by the police, you're going to be out in a matter of hours, you don't care. It doesn't matter. And that's the problem. That is the issue. The best way to deter crime is if the consequences are real and if the consequences are strong. And I say this all the time on my show on LFA TV, and it's not a unique thought just to me, but we say it all the time. It's a question I love to pose to our live chat. Our laws only matter if they're enforced. If you don't enforce the law, then people are going to break the law because they don't fear any consequences because there are no consequences. And that's what's going on in some of these blue cities, a lot of these blue cities.
Exactly. By the way, so Jennifer Jenkins, who's a Democrat, is dropping out of the Florida Senate race, endorsing Alexander Vindman. So this Jennifer Jenkins chick is another one who wanted to, so they're all coming to Florida and they all want that Senate seat because they want to turn Florida blue. And there's no way anybody should vote for, you can vote for whoever you want, but if you vote for Vindman is voting for a treasonous guy whose loyalty is with Ukraine when he was living there, but he never wanted to go back to fight for Ukraine. Remember? He had the medals and everything else. He just wanted to get Trump. And then he testified he was a whistleblower. The Democrats only care about whistleblowers when you don't know who they are. You ever notice? We have a whistleblower report. Meanwhile, the whistleblowers that are coming out in Minnesota to help the kid Shirley get the inside information on what's going on at these learning centers and all of these child care centers.
The Leering Center.
The Leering Center, my favorite place. In fact, when my grandkids grow up, I'm going to open a Leering Center for them in Maryland.
That's where Sherelle Parker learned how to read and learn how to spell. She learned at the Leering Center. That's why she can't spell Eagles.
No, the other day she was out there when the blizzard was coming and talking about how the city's going to do a great job, and she went SONW snow.
Oh, unbelievable! When that clip went viral last year, Tony, I was like, well, "You've got to be this is DEI at work." Okay, this is DEI at work. Unbelievable. Hey, we're gonna have a little bit more fun. We got a lot more to get to. Today.
I want to clarify something.
Go ahead.
She's as close to a moderate as you'll see in Philadelphia. The rest of the Democrats are just absolute losers.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny to say that she's actually the closest thing to a moderate because she's not very moderate when you look at it from 30,000 feet. But that is a statement right there. That is a statement. We're gonna bounce for a quick break, but we'll be back with a bunch more. I see a caller wants to talk about a little bit of a Bruce Springsteen hate from yesterday. I don't know what that's about, but I think we should roll with that when we get back. Ted, let's get him in when we come back from break here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. It's Farish and Bruno up until 6. And then you've got the Rich Zioli Show. Keep it locked right here. We'll be right back.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
This is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about. But if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/plan for 20% off. Trustandwill.com/PLAN.
You know what's beautiful? The Jug Handle Inn. Spread your wings and enjoy good times, great friends, and amazing food. You know the Jug's famous for their award-winning wings, but they offer so much more. Perfect for lunch, dinner, late-night snacks with monster burgers, scrumptious nachos, huge fresh salads, fries, and tots. Don't miss a minute of your basketball and hockey action, and your chance to scream, "Go Birds!" with great specials every day. Come rediscover the Jug Handle Inn in Cinnamons and find them online at jughandleinn.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Attention, Pennsylvania, New Jersey home sellers. If you're over 60 and even thinking about selling in 2026, do not start too late as sellers are losing thousands before the sign ever goes up. They fix the wrong things, they guess on price, and they get blindsided at inspections. I want you to learn the 10 new rules of selling over 60 at Diane Cardano's free breakfast seminar, 9 a.m. this Saturday at the Hilton Garden Inn, Fort Washington. Join me, Diane, either live or on Zoom. Should you downsize now or stay put? What are your capital gains? How to declutter 30 years of your stuff? What do you fix or not fix? Should you sell as is? And how to price and market your home to sell fast. All attendees, you get a free copy of Diane's newest book, The Hidden Cost of Overpricing. Join us this Saturday morning. Get all the info. Just RSVP at 215-576-8666 or go to 215-576-8666.com. I'll see you there.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Your day doesn't wait. Between the school run, the office, and the grocery list, you need to know what's happening in Philly now, not an hour from now.
At KYW News Radio, we're obsessed with your quality of life. That means real-time traffic for your commute, weather that actually helps you plan your weekend, and fearless reporting on the local leaders making decisions that affect your wallet.
Stay connected. Stay informed. Tell your smart speaker to play KYW News Radio.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, NewNordicUSA.com, or your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Sunshine of your love, baby. Look at the sunshine out there. We had a blue heron right on the back of our patio. And he had the full neck because he's looking at the water because the tide was low and he's looking for fish.
Right.
Incredible animals. But people don't realize that when a blue heron has its neck down, you can't tell it's a blue heron. But then that thing grows up. And they're magnificent creatures, man. I love wildlife, especially the human kind.
Yeah.
Especially
you love wildlife. Do you watch The View because of the animals on that show too, or no?
No, that's not the rhinos and the hippos are not my favorite species because they're dangerous. We're gonna get. I also want. We have people on the phone, but we have to get to this Luigi Mangione story too. Before we get out of here today. You saw that story, right? Another.
I did. This guy tried to bust him out of jail, right? I mean, it's crazy.
Tried to bust out the heartthrob of many dumb women, Luigi Mangione in jail, and a guy from Minnesota, Mark Anderson, has just been arrested attempting to bust him out, posing as an FBI agent.
Unbelievable. I mean, I give him credit for, creativity, I guess.
Yeah, but Tim Walz is empowering people.
Yeah.
Who is supporting de-arresting illegals, trying to bust murderers out of jail in New York City.
Again, this is the party of crime. This is what the left did. They celebrated when the Mangione thing happened. And I guess, you got to say alleged. He hasn't been convicted yet. But, there's a lot that's on video and a lot of evidence that point in the direction of, he did it. But this is how the left thinks. Well, they've been the party of death for a while. Okay, they celebrate when people die all the time. And my favorite thing about this Mangione United Healthcare thing is United Healthcare is like the biggest winner from Obamacare in terms of the companies. Like they're the primary one. They're the one that gets most of that Obamacare business on healthcare.gov. And they're like, well, the system's broken. It's your system. Bernie Sanders, Tony, is like, the health care system is broken. We will never allow this to happen in Vermont. It's like, bro, it's your system, though, dude. You're the ones who voted this in.
Bernie Sanders is another clown who's never signed a check for anyone. He's never had a job. He's a career loser, socialist, communist, fascist. I think we can put those all together and stir it up, mix it in, and slap it up, flip it, and rub it down. All right, we got callers on the line, right?
Let's go to Ted.
In Swarthmore. Ted, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, afternoon, guys. Hey, Tony, I just wanted to touch base with you and the disdain you have for farmer Bruce Springsteen.
Yes.
He has a little honey stand outside, him and John Bon Jovi, and they get tax breaks because they're farmers. Frauds.
Really?
They're frauds, Tony.
They are frauds.
Fraud.
And I love now the media is now, look at the Minnesota song that Bruce Springsteen did. Boy, what a hero he is. I went on a rant yesterday about Springsteen and what he did to local bars in Philadelphia. He had to send his goons in because his songs were on their jukeboxes and he wasn't getting a taste of the ASCAC BMI thing. Yeah, he's a scumbag.
Yeah, so now,
Bruce Springsteen is a scumbag.
Tony, one other thing, bud. One other thing. You had I tried to get on when you were talking about the Rocky statue. I work for a company. We did the foundation at the statue at the bottom of the steps, and I told all my kids, I said, if you ever see the Rocky statue sweating, call me. I know where the broken pipe is that's under the ground.
Yeah, they're moving it back up to the top of the steps of the Art Museum. Because when it was first up there, no, there's not a pipe up there. But when they first put it up there, the artsy-fartsy crowd says, that's not art. That's a fictional boxing guy. And we can't have it at the top of the art museum. So they put it down in that corner, and it became the big tourist attraction. And you have people out there, homeless people, taking pictures of people who want to get a photograph with the statue. You know what I'm saying? So that's how
to charge you for it.
Yeah, they want you to pay them. It's like you go to Times Square and you have all these impersonators or immigrants from Peru dressed up as Mickey Mouse and all these other characters. They're all little Peruvian people who get bussed in the morning from Jersey, and then they put these costumes on. And then if you don't pay them when they want a picture taken, they get mad at you. And then I just kick them in the nuts, and they go right down.
I have no problem with Peruvians. As a matter of fact, I'll give all the Peruvians amnesty because Peru makes by far the best coffee in the world. If you've never had a cup of Peruvian coffee, you drink it black. It's the best coffee ever. So I'll give them the amnesty. There you go.
You know who else? Honduras has great coffee. The Honduran coffee is good.
Ethiopian
It's not bad.
Good.
Sumatra's got good stuff too.
Sumatra et Tumatro. Mi matra et Sumatra. You know what I'm saying?
Be quiet. Tony, when you were doing the Rocky thing, I was trying to catch up to you because I went to Florida. I was in the Panhandle. I swam in the Gulf of America.
Awesome, man. Day. You're a real American. It's like being baptized. You know when they dunk people in baptisms and churches and stuff? That's you go into the Gulf of America now. You're basically reborn in the USA. By the way,
you're reborn a gun-toting, red-blooded MAGA patriot if you do that. We've got a little sports breaking news here for Tony. The Philadelphia Eagles have named the Green Bay Packers quarterback coach Sean Mannion as the offensive coordinator. So
wow, the search is over. Was there white smoke over the Lincoln Financial Field this morning when the decision came out? You know, that Pope, they have to have the black smoke, and then when we have a Pope, this has been the longest search in history. And the amazing thing about this whole Eagles search, the fans who were like, oh yeah, the Eagles, the media who keeps saying Nick Sirianni and the Eagles organization is probably the best organization in football right now because they draft all these guys and they're young and they bring in new guys time and time. But then when they get rid of the offensive coordinator that everybody agreed was not doing the job, all these other people were turning down the Eagles' job. So are the Eagles a bad organization now because they waited and got a guy who's, I would think, pretty good because he's running a pretty good offense? All he has to do is make one mistake that the fans don't like, and they'll be on this guy's case too. That's how it works in Philly. You know, that's the way it's.
Well, that's how it is in Philly. That's how it is in New York. It's a what can the Northeast in general. You know, Philly, New York, Boston. It's a what can you do for me lately? What have you done for me lately? Kind of town. Doesn't matter what you did. You know, over the course of several years. But I do remember this when the Philadelphia Eagles fans booed Santa Claus, and I will never be able to let that go.
Do you not know the real story? I've told this story a million times.
I've heard the side of the story that Santa was drunk.
Well, that's true, but who isn't drunk at an Eagles game? I mean, come on.
True.
12-year-old.
What is the whole story, though? I want to know the whole story.
This was told to me by Tom Brookshire when I was working at WIP on the morning show back with Angelo Cataldi. Brookie was there. He was doing CBS, of course. John Madden replaced him in the CBS booth with Pat Summerall. Tom Brookshire was hosting the morning show on WIP, so I got to talk football with him all the time. I love Tom Brookshire. But what happened was, and he was there that day on the team, he said the guy was drunk, and he came out, and he had a raggedy uniform on, and he was all drunk, and it was dirty, and he didn't represent Santa Claus. So the people didn't boo him because he was Santa Claus. They booed him because it was a drunken idiot in a Santa suit who walked onto the field. And now they tackle people when they walk off. So you're supposed to cheer a drunken guy in a tattered Santa suit who's drunk in an important game?
This to me sounds like the movie Trading Places. You know, where Dan Aykroyd is Santa Claus. He pulls the fish out of his beard. He starts eating
no, that's
it.
Tom Brookshire was there. To me, his word being there, because he criticized the fans when he had to, but that story has become urban legend, but it's a lie. There's no city in America during the holiday season who had if Santa Claus runs out onto the field now, they would tackle him, but with 15 security guards. Back then,
I think the stadium would cheer, though. The stadium always cheers anywhere you go. Stadium always cheers when people run on the field now. They think it's funny because the guy's going to get tackled. You know, I've seen that happen at MetLife Stadium with the Jets. Yeah, I'm a big Jets fan. We were season ticket holder when I used to live up there. My family's still season ticket holder, but we would watch the security tackle better than the whole defense. We're like, hey, sign that guy up. Yeah. All right, that guy at least he stopped him before he got to the goal line.
You do not. Ruin the image and the likeness of Santa Claus. Nobody wants to see a drunken Santa Claus who's got a crappy suit on and doesn't represent the greatness.
And didn't he have vomit?
Yeah, and the guy was a pig.
Yeah, he was.
You're going to
here's the thing.
Guy for going
yeah, but vomit is not something that is uncommon in Philadelphia. Let's be clear, okay?
Philadelphia. Have you been to Oakland? Have you been to New York City? Have you been to Yankee games and Yankee and Met games? Come on, man.
Yeah. There's plenty of violence. There's plenty of vomit there, too. But here's the problem. The reason why I think that story took on legs the way it did and became this urban legend, if what we're being told here, these new details surrounding Santagate are true, then the reason why it was able to take on a life of its own is because the Philly fans, and Northeast fans too, but Philly fans in particular, have a reputation that kind of precedes them. Booing Donovan McNabb at the draft because they wanted Ricky Williams, booing the football when it fell off the tee because it was a little too windy. You know what I'm saying? There's some stuff.
Those are Bronx cheers. That's what they call them, right? Where does the Bronx in New York? That's where it came from. Not A Bronx Tale, which is a great movie, but the Bronx cheer. All sports fans do it. When an athlete makes a mistake or something, they give, or when somebody tries to bunt and gets thrown out by 100 miles. That's what the fans do everywhere. It's not just a Philly thing.
They give them the Bronx cheer, but the Philly fans boo a lot. That's a notorious thing. It's a thing. It's all right.
Yeah, but you know what? Things are going pretty good in Philly. When things suck, the fans don't show up. See, I used to talk to Phillies, the owner of the Phillies, and I would say, does it bother you when the fans boo? He says, no, it would bother me if booing means they care. If they weren't booing and not
That's a good point.
showing up. Yeah, he says, if they're not booing and not showing up, then I would care. That's passion. They're booing things that they're not happy with. That doesn't mean they want to kill the players or any of that stuff. So it was Dave Montgomery I was talking to, and he said, I asked him flat out, does it bother you when fans boo? He said, no, that means they care. So I think of that every single time I hear fans boo at a game. Not throwing
That's
stuff.
A good point. That's a good point. It's a good angle. Yeah, it's a nice little. It's a good angle. I'll dare I use the word? Dare I use the word spin? It's a little bit of two princes, little spin doctors going on. It's a little bit of spin. It's a little spin. It's a little spin. It's okay. It's good. The Philly fans tend to be a bit brutal. Now, Jet fans tend to be a bit brutal too. Met fans tend to be a bit brutal.
They don't care. Jets fans just want to have somebody who knows.
Well, here's what Jet fans do. I'll tell you what most Jet fans do. When we would go to the game just to see our friends in the parking lot, we would go in and we knew what we were gonna witness, and kind of get ahead of the traffic on the way out. It's unbelievable that basically the Jet fan has become so dejected now, where it's like, well, why even boo? Why even put any passion, lay it on the line? This organization is so bass-ackwards, it's out of control. Woody Johnson and Aaron Glenn and everybody that they continue to roll in here. You're sticking with this Aaron Glenn character instead of going after a guy like Mike Tomlin or John Harbaugh. It's just nothing's going to get better on that side of the field for the Jets. It's terrible.
Rich Kotite back at this time. The great Rich Kotite.
I'd take anybody back. I would let my mailbox coach the team. I think we'd be able to find more wins.
Like in the Mad Dog, when Rich Kotite and the fans turned on him because he was a buffoon. And I had a rally in Philadelphia, but with 50,000 people in Center City, when they told Reggie White they weren't going to offer him a contract, I put together a rally where the love statue is, and had 50,000 people at midday, and I had all these speakers come up and denounce the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a peaceful protest, but fans were pissed off. When you have an owner who doesn't, imagine letting Reggie White walk. And then he said, when he signed with the Green Bay Packers and won a Super Bowl, and people mocked him because he said, God told me to go here. Reggie White was a great friend of mine. I supported him, and I was so passionate about the owner screwing him over. And then Rich Kotite, the coward coach that he was, wouldn't even acknowledge it when he was asked, did you talk to Reggie White about Norman Braman saying he's not going to give him money? He didn't even have the cojones to say anything. That's why he belongs in New York, where he came from, because he's a crumb creep loser and will never have a coaching job again.
Well, Rich Kotite, his career definitely over, and rightfully so.
Like in the Mad Dog, like, oh, Rich, they're treating you so bad in Philly. We want you to come to the Jets. He goes to the Jets, and then they turned on him in less than
1
a year.
1-15. Well, that's what happens. You go 1-15. No good. He was one of the worst coaches in New York Jets history, if not the worst. I don't know. He's up there with Adam Gase, though. He's up there with Adam Gase. We got to take a break. We'll be back to wrap up this entire show as we hand it off to the Rich Zioli Show at 6 o'clock. Sean Farish and Tony Bruno with you on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We'll be right back after this.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Have you been thinking about doing a Roth conversion, but the upfront taxes are holding you back? Welcome to Roth Right. We can show you how to significantly reduce taxes on a conversion, potentially saving hundreds of thousands, even millions in taxes over your lifetime. A Roth conversion will give you tax-free income, eliminate required minimum distributions, and leave a tax-free estate for your heirs. Call 855-415-ROTH. That's 855-415-ROTH. Or visit Rothright.com. Accredited investors only. Rothright is not a financial advisory firm. Consult with a tax professional before making any financial decision.
Announcing that gold has surpassed $5,000 an ounce, and silver is at an all-time high as well. If you need cash to help pay those bills, then you must go to the Estates Roadshow. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, and even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold and silver are hot. 3 locations this week: Chestnut Hill, Bensalem, and Doylestown. Bring your gold, silver, coins, diamonds, and watches, even broken pieces, and get cash on the spot. The prices of gold and silver are at an all-time high, so there's never been a better time to sell. No appointments, no fees, no pressure, just friendly professional buyers with over 35 years in the business. Go to the Estates Roadshow, Monday through Friday in Chestnut Hill at the Chestnut Hill Hotel, in Bensalem at the Courtyard by Marriott, and in Doylestown at the Doylestown Inn. Get some cash in your hands today to help pay those bills at the Estates Roadshow. For more info, visit estatesroadshow.com and follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook for all upcoming events.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Philadelphia homeowners, protect your investment with custom storage from Closet Factory. From design through installation, everything is handled in-house, ensuring consistent quality from start to finish. Call 215-461-4013 for your free design consultation. Closet Factory. Smart storage done right.
You know, this is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about, but if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/plan for 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
You shook me all night long, and I'm glad because the heat was off and I needed a little resuscitation. Tony Bruno, Sean Farish, we have a late cut that I want to get to. Senator John Fetterman, Sean, you a big fan of his?
Oh, yeah. Senator Wubba Dubba. Let's go. Love that guy.
Now, you know, the Democrats love this guy because he was a Democrat, and he voted 99% of the time with the Democrats. But if he dares stray off the plantation, they want him removed. So today, Senator John Fetterman was asked about DA Larry Krasner saying he wanted to hunt people down. This was his response to Larry Krasner. This is John Fetterman, senator from Pennsylvania.
Million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities, we will find you, we will achieve justice.
Is that going to get us anywhere, Senator?
No, that's gross, and that I absolutely condemn that. Absolutely. Do not compare anyone to Nazis. Don't use that kind of rhetoric. You know, that can incite violence, and now I strongly reject that and condemn that kind of language in the strongest terms. You know, members of ICE are not Nazis. I don't compare anyone to Gestapo and those things. You know, this is one of the reasons why I think we should stand down in what's happening in Minneapolis. You know, we all have to reduce the temperature. We have to turn it down. And using that kinds of rhetoric, you know, again, I can't ever support that. And I have a basic rule in politics: don't compare anyone to Nazis. I don't care. You just don't do that. These are not Nazis. So for me.
Yep. And now you'll feel, I can't wait to hear the condemnation from all the Democratic senators. How dare you? How dare you go against a real Nazi? We got a break, though. I want to thank Sean. Thanks, man. It was a lot of fun. We got to do it again sometimes. I'll come on your show anytime you want if you need me. I'm on call.
Tony, it was a good time. It was a wonderful time. It went by very quick, as always, at 3 hours of radio, but it was a blast. I'd love to do it again soon. Special thanks to all those who made it work. 1210 WPHT, the best damn radio station in the nation. Rich Cioli's show coming up at 6. And we will be back. I'll be back on, I believe, with Opelka tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I'm looking forward to it. I've got to thank Matt DeSantis and the Justin Otero for controlling the up ones and twos. Have a great weekend, everybody. Well, it's my weekend, but have a great Thursday night.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus continues. Live from Australia. Featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski.
He is an animal.
Defends his belt at home in an explosive rematch against Diego Lopez.
You gotta be kidding me.
And the always dangerous Dan Hooker.
Yes.